All right, y'all. What's up? What's up? What's up? Let me first of all let me play the intro right quick. What's up, YouTube? I am Wiley and your host today, and we have none other. How you pronounce your name? Because I was about to call you OD, but it's Oshan. Did I say that right? Hold on. Did you mute yourself, Oshan? I can't hear you. Did you mute yourself? Is you muted? You sure you ain't got it on the Bluetooth? Because you was working at first. Hello? Say, let me see. Unmute yourself so we can get this started. So when he's getting his stuff together, we're gonna play. Of course, we're gonna play some clips and have this conversation going. And we have a special guest that's gonna join us. But there we go. I can hear you now. Say hello. There you go. Can you hear me? All right. Because the full autopsy report came out about George Floyd, and we found out, according to the autopsy report, that he had been tested positive for COVID-19. The 20-page release by Hennepin County medical exam officer our office came with the family permission after the coroner's office released a summary finding Monday that Floyd had a heart attack while he's being restrained by officers and classify his May 25th death as a homicide. Bystanders video showed that Minneapolis police pressing the knee on Floyd's neck, ignoring Floyd's "I can't breathe" cries until he eventually stopped moving, has sparked nationwide protests, some violent. The report by Chief Medical Examiner Andrew Banker spelled out clinical details, including that Floyd has tested positive for COVID-19 on April 3rd, but appeared. The report also notes Floyd's lungs appear healthy, but he had some narrating in the heart. So, are you there? Is it connected right? Okay, let's see now. Can we hear you? There we go.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. All right,
Okay,
just
cool.
test that. All right. So, let's have this conversation. What's your thoughts on everything? Because I did not pronounce your name. Let us know where you're from and give your thoughts on George Floyd and everything that is currently going on with the protests, etc.
I was gonna say, well, I wanna be a little catty right quick, but this ain't that type of show. But I'll say this, you guys. My name is Oshan. Okay. I also go by Legendary Barbecue here in LA. Okay. But yeah, that's my introduction. That's me. But no, this whole thing with George Floyd, is very sad. It's very heartbreaking. All of the bad emotions, the worst emotions, all of that stuff you can think of. That's what's going on, and that's how everybody's feeling. And I'm just gonna say this: um, this has been going on for a very long time. This is nothing new for us. We've gone through this I don't know how many times, but I'm glad that this time, this is what it took for something to change, for something to happen, for people to actually get tired and get sick and tired of being sick and tired and actually putting their best foot forward to make a change. You know, I wish that we could do it a little bit differently, but you want to know something? Whatever it takes to get that message across, that's just what we got to do. We've been nice, we've been friendly, we've turned the other cheek and walk away. We've how do you say anything on the terms of being nice and being respectful and being gentle? We've been all those things. Enough is enough. The people are tired. Us as black folks, we have truly had enough. And and it's sad that some people I know, I don't have any kids, but I have family members with kids, that are in my age group, and them having to sit their children down to explain to them what's going on. You wouldn't think that in 2020 you would have to sit down with your children, your nieces, your nephews, and all your little loved ones and explain to them about racism, explain to them about bigotry, explain to them about um, what's going on in this country or what has happened for centuries. This is nothing new. It's just done in a different way. It's it boils down to the same thing, and it just sucks that our youth they have to experience this. I had a friend tell me the other day that he felt like racism was just about done. I told him racism will never be done. It's just that nowadays we need to hold people better. We need to hold people more accountable and better accountable for what they're doing and what they're saying and their actions. Because it starts at the top. Right now we have a president that pushes and exudes so much hate and malice and bitterness and all of those things that you can think of. And he exudes these things, so it gives the racist people in our country the okay to do what they're doing. Prime example, what's going on with George Floyd. Am I saying it right? I'm sorry.
You got it right.
Did I say his name correctly?
Correct. You said
Because
it correct.
I know at times I be tripping, you guys. You got to excuse me, but it's very sad, and we just shouldn't, and this shouldn't even be going on. It's like I'm just gonna say this: our president, our law enforcement, and the list goes on. With this situation, they've set us back another 30 years again. Just as I'm gonna say this, things were. I'm gonna be honest with you, just my honest opinion. I feel like things I wouldn't say were 100% better, but I gave it about a 45%. You know what I mean? It was things were a little different, but that situation took us all the way back. The only dip, and I'm gonna say this too. People are saying that this is just like the Rodney King riots. This is not just like the Rodney King riots, and I'm gonna say why. At first, I said I agree, but I'm gonna tell you why. It's not because back in the day, the only city that protested when this happened with Rodney King was L.A. This time, this went nationwide, country to country. It went around the world. Everybody's in an uproar. Everybody's protesting. Everybody sees just how fucked up the United States of America is. Excuse my French.
No, I believe that you have a right to talk about it. And speaking about around the world, I'm going to screen share this from my Instagram page just to show you the protest that has been going around from around the world. Clearly, you see right here, this is Ireland. You see right here, this is another part. You see right there, that's Poland. This is Finland. This is where I don't know what part. This is some other part. This is Denmark. This is Japan. This is Germany. This is Australia. This is Canada. So all over, even right here in my caption, I said President Trump told the state governors that the whole world is laughing at us. And I put on there, no, Trump, the world is standing along with us. Black people standing in solidarity and in respect of many men and women that have been killed by the hands of others simply because we are superior race of people. I never understood the injustice that my people have faced for thousands of years. It became clear to me when I realized how dope I am, how dope you are. I love you all on the front lines. Thank you all for your stance against social and racial injustice. So you clearly see the world have joined us in the fight.
Yeah, absolutely, and times 10. It's in and like I was telling one of my friends, I said I'm glad that the world really sees the United States of America for what the fuck it is. I'm glad that all this shit is being recorded, so finally our country can be exposed and people can see what we go through as people of color, black and brown, here in the United States of America. Then you have some of our very own people still resorting back to this word that really irks me and grinds my gears, black on black crime.
Mhm.
Like I told them, yeah, black folks do kill each other. But are you saying that we're the only race that does stuff? Because I said my question is when we say black on black crime, when an Asian kills another Asian, do we call that Asian on Asian crime? When
Mhm.
a white man, hold on, when a white man decides that, no, when a white man finds out that his wife has a 500 some thousand dollar insurance policy that dates back 30 years before they got married, and he decides that, oh well, I'm going to take her life for this 500 or some thousand dollars. Do we call that white on white crime?
Mm. You know what I'm saying? And then we've been so conditioned.
We don't. Hello, and I'm just gonna say this, and not trying to cut you off. And some people can say, some people may get upset with me and feel how they feel, but and I'm not gonna say. I'm just gonna say this. Some of our black folks still have that slave mentality,
Mhm.
where whatever the white men say, that's what they go with. And not all of us, because I'm not like that. My family's not like that, and I have a lot of other friends and family members that are not like that. But I'm just saying in general, it sucks that in this day and age, people don't have their own way of thinking. They do. It's very much monkey say, monkey do, and whatever the white man say is okay. That's what's okay.
Mhm. Do you feel like right then and there, because you know Trina have gotten into a big controversial of the stands that she taken? Did you hear the Trina piece of her going off? If not,
Um,
we will play it if you need to hear it.
I didn't hear it, but I've heard a lot of people saying,
Okay. So what we will do
you
is
know,
we will play it right quick so you can hear her stance of it. And she got dragged, and it's from her radio show. So what we will do is I'm going to share this piece. This is a shout out to Neighborhood Talk because they posted it, and you're going to hear her argument, and we're going to have a conversation about that. Of course, I talked about it yesterday, but I have a special guest on. So here we go. Let me press play.
P.M. to 6 a.m. and will be enforced until Gimenez lifts the order. They need to make the curfew at 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. That's how I feel. No. Keep everybody off the streets, these animals off the streets that are running around in Miami-Dade County acting like they have escaped from a zoo. Lock them up at 5 p.m. so the streets can be nice and clean. That's how I feel. What the streets got to do with the people's lives? You got money. We're not talking about the lives. We're not talking about money. That. We're not talking about the lives. We're not talking about that. You got money. Yeah. Mm-hmm. These people got to go to work. Mm-hmm. These people been on lockdown. I've been on lockdown too. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. You've been on lockdown. I've been on lockdown just like them. Uh-huh. Yeah, these people ain't been working. Okay. They about Unfortunately, a lot of people don't have jobs. I agree with that. Mm-hmm. They're about to lose their mind. We all about to lose our mind. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And just because one person. Mm-hmm, they run. So today their minds are all back. Everybody's minds is back today good? Because the weekend it was they back good, okay? They mind. One day they gonna get their mind clear. But it'll help. Oh, okay. You gotta start somewhere. Okay, that's cool. You gotta start somewhere. And that means tear up our city? That means tear up our city? Ain't nobody tear up no city. That means tear up our, that means run through and tear up our stores and burn down our stuff and break in our stores and go and tear up Bayside Marketplace and tear up my friend's shop that has a son and the kid to take care of her family. You go demolish her shop for something? It's always personal with you. It's definitely personal. It's definitely personal because I feel like at the end of the day, your friend got insurance. She got insurance, but she also been locked down for 60 days, also like us, and she also don't have money like me. So I don't approve of it, period. Okay. I don't approve of it, period. I don't either, but... Because you don't want nobody burning down Sundays, let's be very clear. But... Okay, and you have insurance, but you don't want that. You don't want to be sent back from ribs to collard greens. Let's be very clear. Yeah. Bring back... We can't. We can't bring back anything. We can't bring back nobody's lives that has been taken away, whether it was from the police or in the hands of another civilian. We cannot bring them back. We cannot. Okay. We cannot bring them back. You cannot pump life back into them at all. I can't bring back my little brother's life. His life was taken by the hands of a man, a black man. I can't bring his life back. So what are you saying? Let's be fair. I'm ready today. Today I'm ready.
All right.
I am ready today, Miami. Today.
All right. So that was the piece there. And go ahead. What do you have to say about that situation?
Fuck you, Trina.
Mm-hmm.
Next subject.
No, I won't say effort. I think she made some valid points. I didn't agree with the animal point, everything like that. You have two different pieces. Let's put yourself in her shoes or any business owner. If you had a barbershop, okay, and you put your life savings and everything, you have a family, you put your life savings to get your barbershop open, and you went to that barbershop and it was burned to a crisp. How would you feel? And be honest, if you had a business and it was a barbershop, you put your life savings.
I'm gonna say this. I'd be very hurt and I'd be broken. The one thing I'm gonna say is this: when it comes to this, you I have a very hard time comprehending and understanding when our very own wants to label us, label ourselves as animals and different things like that. And I get it, you're hurt. I get it. The business is gone. Your friend is going through what she's going through. You lost your brother to gun violence with another black man. But that's not to say that just because your brother was killed by a black man, that all of us are the same. That was a situation. That was a very unfortunate situation. But to label us as animals and say, and lock us up and this and that. I mean, don't get me wrong. People are looting, but if you really want to be technical, Trina, I, it's not even so much of us that are looting this time. If you really want to be technical, Marquise, am I lying though? It is us to a certain degree, but it's more of the white folks. It's
Absolutely.
more of the people of other races that are out here burning shit up, knocking shit down. Don't get me wrong, we've done some stuff too, but and don't get me wrong, and we're gonna go through stuff to the end of time. But the wrong thing to do is to try to label all black men as the same. And I feel like that's what she did. And I'm gonna apologize for saying fuck you because I don't know her feelings and her emotions, but I say fuck you because I get so fucking tired of my black men, my black women degrading and trying to demean our own fucking people.
Mhm.
Why do we do that? And I get it. I Let me tell you something. I've had some very horrible situations happen with our own. But I'm not going to label all of my black men, all of my black women as one thing because of what a few people did to me or because of what I've been through. Trina, whatever you're dealing with, baby girl, you need to go get help, honey. You need to go get some counseling, some therapy. But to sit there on the radio station where a lot of different people from all around the world can hear you talk about your own people in that way, that says a lot about you as a woman. That says a lot about you as a person. When we're buying your records and we're supporting you and we're putting food in on your table and we're and we're giving you enough money so that you can live grand, so you ain't got to worry about no money during the pandemic. Our dollars count then, but now because something is not necessarily going your way, we're fucking animals.
Mm.
That's low of the low. And Trina, I understand you about your brother, I support you with that, my girl, my black sister. I definitely do. But don't label me as no motherfucking animal because that's what I'm not.
And
You're upset about your friend's business. I get it. It's not right. It's definitely wrong. Looting is not the right way. But sometimes I really feel like as black folks, we miss we miss the true message. People are hurt. People are going through stuff. It's deeper than just how we're feeling. I'm gonna say this, Marquise. People grieve in different ways. People heal and go through stuff in different ways. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to try to downplay your own. How do you refer to your own people as animals? You talking about yourself. Is that how you identify, baby girl? Because I don't identify as an animal.
absolutely.
So I'm not okay with that. But people show you how they truly feel about you. That's all I gotta say.
And in this instance, I understand it was just her delivery was wrong, in my humble opinion. Even when you look at this situation, even President Johnson said, "How can you be shocked that folks are, looting and they're doing this? Because for 300 years we had um, our knee on their neck of oppression, and so eventually they will knock your head off, or some of that nature of some he was saying during that time, during the riots that they were doing. But change will implement it, and sometimes you do have folks that are sick and tired, and I think a lot of folks are at that place now when it
And
comes
I and
to
I and I definitely am Marquise. And here's the thing: I definitely. I'm sorry. Am I saying your name right on the
Well,
show?
you
Because
said it
I
right.
know.
He said
No,
it right.
because I know. How do you say it? We all in a different place than what we were a couple of years ago with them lives, compared to where we are now. You get what I'm saying? So,
Right.
so I'm asking because we haven't did a live together. What, about 2 years?
Yeah, been like 2 years.
About 2 years, right? So yeah. So that's why I'm like, okay, you know.
Yes. So even in this instance with during President Johnson administration, this is after Dr. King was assassinated. Johnson stressed that more work needed to be done with urgency and resolve with new energy to accomplish all possible until we do overcome, because pressure was applied. Every day he was waking up, stuff was on fire. And so it happened. So we can pinpoint a point of history when riots were going on in multiple cities. And we're currently dealing with a problem because we're tired. Because once they assassinated Dr. King, a lot of Black people were done with nonviolence. They felt as though here's a man that had a dream that was nonviolent and he was assassinated. So now I think African American people are still seeing us being nonviolent, complying, and still dying. So I think now some people are taking that approach of burning stuff down. Now, I don't agree with looting and burning your property. The reason why I say
Me either. I don't either.
Walmarts. If people would burn down the Kroger in my neighborhood, I don't even live in the urban area or the area predominantly are doing those things, I would be pissed, because how would I be able to get groceries? How would I be able to get water? How would I be able to get food? Even though I have the access to go and drive to better off neighborhoods, what about that sister and brother that do not have transportation to and can go and already live in a food desert, and they only have a little bit of a store, and they have to depend on public transit, but they're cutting public transit off, and even affecting them to even get to certain jobs. So it's a domino effect. And now in Chicago, a lot of folks are struggling to survive because their stores have been looted. Now they want to get groceries. Their children can't go to school to get food because they canceled that because of the looting. So we do have to call that out, but it's the delivery. No, we shouldn't say animals, because that's the same talking points that conservative media, that racist folks use on the regular to classify us. Now I'm going to play a video of when I say use your white privilege for good. And this sister did something that millions of young folks that are white should do, and have those conversations at home. So I want to play this video, and this is the reason why I tell you that these are your police officers, these are your folks that are over your boss, these are your folks that's over probably in your neighborhood of authority. And this white man literally echoes what it goes on of men that are white in power. So listen to what he had to say to his daughter. His daughter recorded this. Let me press play.
Actually, no, shut up.
No.
Can you shut your mouth for a minute?
No.
Because I actually work in the ghetto. I see the people.
Do you know why they're in that position?
I see these people.
Do you understand the systematic and historical reason for why they're in that position?
They don't care. All they want to do is be ghetto.
No.
Yes, there's some that don't, and there's good people.
No.
Most of them just want to suck off the system or do something bad like drugs or gangs. And that's all
they have been oppressed. They have not been given the same opportunities you have had.
They do, and there's plenty of Black people.
No, they don't, Dad. And you not recognizing that as an issue is the reason why it's still continuing today.
I see them all over. There's all kinds of successful people that are of color. It doesn't matter what color, brown, white.
But it's a lot harder for them to get to that position.
It doesn't matter. When they do, they're fine. But there's always filthy animals.
You're calling people of color Black animals. You're calling them animals. Are you kidding me?
You didn't let me finish.
That's not okay. No matter what, that's not okay. No matter what, it's not okay. Racism is not okay. Why do you think that racism is okay?
Oh, that's mine.
Really, I'm gonna look at. No, I'm looking at statistics right now.
Your statistics can't They can be warped. Statistics can be warped. You want me to show you videos?
So
Do you want me to show you videos of cops? I will do it.
Statistics wrong?
Because they can be warped. I'm not giving statistics right now. They can be warped. Personal experiences can't.
No, because this is actually putting it into play.
Do I need to show you a bunch of videos of cops attacking protesters, peaceful protesters?
Listen to this. This is the number.
You mean I'm informed and educated?
You're not, though.
Yes, I am.
You're one-sided informed.
Mom, I was watching political stuff and you said to turn that off because you don't want to hear about it. That means that I am educated on it and you are not.
I'm sick of hearing it.
The fact that you can have that ignorance, ignorance for the majority is bliss.
Okay, so
Ignorance for the minority
I'm
is
looking at statistics
destruction.
that are wrong.
Actually, no, shut up.
No.
So that was that. And what's your thoughts on that? And we have to have these conversations. Do you feel as though that I'm not shocked? And this is the reason why white folks should use their privilege to expose this, to expose it. And that was her parents. These were the people that is raising her. And they have that type of outdated thought process. Racism is taught. You're not born a racist. You are taught that. And now that you're around the world now have access so much with black people, we're everywhere. We're in every single space in the world, and people are waking up. And this is why I tell my young brothers and sisters that's allies with us that are white, don't just protest with us outside. Go back home and educate and have those debates and conversations with your mama and your daddy. That'll let me know if you really about the movement, if you really about the change of us as a people, if you really are ally. Because if you're not willing to put that fight behind closed doors at home, then you're not really with us. And for her to really put that, recorded that, I'm glad, because people need to see this. I was at work.
Because it really shows you how people truly feel about us. Mm-hmm. And I always say this, and I want to say something to that young little girl. Hun, thank you. I gladly appreciate you for doing that, and that definitely needed to be shown, and that definitely needed to be said. And I'm glad you stood up to your parents to let them know that how they were thinking was wrong, and also letting them know that they're being very ignorant because they're not trying to educate themselves on what's going on. You see, one thing I've learned, and this doesn't apply to all white folks, but one thing I learned about some white folks is they feel like once they say it, that's all. Yeah. They feel like once they tell you what you are, that's what you are, and that's what it is. If they feel like you're an animal, you're an animal. No, regardless of what's proven, regardless of what it is, once they say what it is, that's it.
And that's why
it's so. It takes. And I always say this: those of y'all out here, excuse my French, that like to suck black dick, get fucked by black dick, and all these things. If you can do all that, you can speak up on what's right and what's wrong. If you can't do that, get the fuck out.
And this is why when I was at work,
I always say this, and I'm sorry to say this, but then I also I'm sorry to say this, but then you have some of our men and our women in these interracial relationships not saying shit.
Absolutely, they are complicit.
They're very quiet. They don't want to offend nobody, baby. Let me tell you something. I tell them all the time. You're the type of motherfuckers I stay away from, because at the end of the day, it's nothing wrong with you dating out of your race. I'm all for it. I've dated out of my race before myself.
Absolutely.
But I'm going to tell you something. When it comes to black issues and what is going on and what is right and what is wrong, I'm never going to stand in the middle with it. I'm going to do what's right.
Absolutely.
Period.
Absolutely.
And if you don't like it, oh well, you ain't got to be with me. So, and I wish that more of our people would really stop and realize, maybe your husband or your husband or your girlfriend or whatever that's out of your race, that ain't speaking up, ain't saying nothing, very quiet about the situation. You need to really second guess that relationship, that situation, because sometimes maybe they may not just be into you; they may be into what you can do for them.
Absolutely.
But they're not solely for you. Because I'm telling you something, I'm being honest with you right now, Marquise. You know, I cook and I cater on the side and I do little stuff. I have a couple of white clients that I was cooking for. I'm no longer cooking for them. They have not said anything. They have not spoken up. I asked them questions. They don't even respond.
Mm.
So I don't call them, ask me for any services, anything. Am I taking a loss? Hell yeah. But I don't need your money that bad for you to think that it's okay for these people to disrespect my people and nothing's supposed to happen. If you can't speak up for my if you can't speak up on my behalf, I definitely can't work for you or accept your money.
And even having this conversation, it needs to be had. And this is why those type of folks, her parents, shouldn't be in positions of power. Because if you have that biased viewpoint of us, you're going to display that in your seat of power, whether it's in corporate, whether it's the police, whether it's a school teacher, whether it's being on the school board. And this is why we have to be in those spaces. And another thing, when I was at work, one of my coworkers said, well, they should shoot those protesters, all of them. And I said, sister, no. And then when the press conference, when George Floyd's daughter, mom, was doing a press conference, she was crying. And then she said, oh my gosh, this is so sad. You sad in that one end, but you ignorant on the other end. No. What's sad is that you think those peaceful protesters should get shot, and they should not. But you've been conditioned to believe, because you was a little girl one day, you've been conditioned to believe that our bodies do not matter.
Let me tell you something, and this is when I learned the type of people I was dealing with. Okay. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm gonna just tell you. I know I'm going a little bit off subject, but I'm just gonna tell you how our black folks are sometimes, and it really bothers me. Black folks will go to a white establishment, a white-owned establishment. Whatever the price is, they'll pay it. They'll even leave a good tip. Won't question nothing. Whatever's that being asked of them, even if they have to pay $100 to park 2 cars, they're gonna do it because this is where they want to go.
Mm-hmm.
So the moment that me and you say, well, hey, we're gonna open up a little rib shack over here in the hood, we're gonna make it happen for the community. We're gonna try to create jobs, not only create jobs, but we're gonna keep the prices low, so that way everybody can eat. If you get what I'm saying, it won't be no excuses on why nobody can afford it. The first thing somebody black do is when they come to your business is, what do they ask you for?
A discount.
And when you say you can't give a discount, you don't support your community, you're not shit, you're not this, you're not that. So with that being said, it just goes to show you how we're conditioned, how we're made to think that if you go over to the white side and you spend good money, oh, you're it. You got it made, baby. You're the it girl. Can't nobody tell you nothing. But because now you go back to your people, you want them to give you something. Instead of just being honest and just knowing, okay, well, this is their bread and butter. This is how they eat. This is how they put food on the table. This is how they live their life. But I'm willing to take from them so I can gain.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not doing that over there in Beverly Hills.
Mm. And let's get it.
You're not doing that. You're not doing that in Manhattan. I'm just saying.
And we're gonna get into this piece. I've got updated breaking news. And this is all trending all over social media now. Inmate dies after guards pepper spray him at a New York prisons. And this is the article quoting to this is New York Post. An inmate at the federal detention center in Brooklyn died after he was pepper sprayed by prison officers, according to New York Post. The incident went down Wednesday. Officers were called to, Floyd's cell around 10 a.m. after he broke his cell door window with a metal object. The officers ended up pepper spraying the 35-year-old man, causing him to pass out. Healthcare workers at the prison tried to give him first aid, but ended up calling the local EMS. He was taken to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. His cause of death was not immediately released. So it's a lot of things are still yet going on, and we have to have those difficult conversations and talk about it. You know, that just what it is. We have to have these conversations and not just talk. Now it's solutions talk. It's putting boots on the ground. It's 400,000 people in Texas that are not registered to vote. The political spectrum had to be changed. But when we give an energy to all of the negative things that are going on, the problems, and yes, that do need to be focused on, but let's also focus on change that is happening in Ferguson. The first Black mayor got elected, a female Black woman mayor in Ferguson.
The other day, right? Yeah, right. I sure did see that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you did say that. So
yes, I did.
So change are going on while this. I want to definitely give a shout out to Black-owned banks seeing an increase in deposits. So people are now putting their money where their mouth is and investing in Black-owned business, and that's how it's going to change on the economic side. And then we take over the political side. But if we do this and do it right, we definitely can have change for us as a people. So I've always asked folks when we have these conversations, what solutions need to be put in place?
I'll tell you this, and it's a couple of things. If the charges for these officers are more steep and heavier for what they're doing, they'll stop their shit. If the people on the, I always hear people saying, well, all cops on the force are not bad. And that's true. But if you see, and you know for a fact that a cop is not doing their job correctly, and you see that cop is using excessive force and different things like that, hold them accountable. Say somebody, speak up, push them off. 9 times out of 10, a lot of times when these officers are doing what they're doing, the other officers, they may feel it's wrong, but they're not doing nothing. They're just standing there. Do what's right. If you know that he or she has no business doing what they're doing, hold them accountable. Speak up. Get them written up. Record it. Don't just stand there and let it go by. So I'm sorry, but yeah, you may be a good cop because you're not treating people bad, but you're a bad cop because you're allowing your partner to do what the fuck he's doing, and you're not speaking up.
Absolutely.
So I'm just saying, but the laws need to be.
I agree.
Oh my God.
I agree with you. Actually, I agree with you. Actually,
we're getting an alert here in California on our phones. With all this stuff going on. 1 second.
Okay,
What's
so
going on, mommy?
Alert, and that's where we have to have these conversations because things are going on. I want to give a special shout out to everybody that is here. Shout out to the producers that are here, and for those that will catch the replay. So make sure you all like because it helps with the analytics. So on Neighborhood Talk, we're gonna switch gears really quickly on here. We are talking about celebrities of Drew. What's his name? I would never. Drew Brees. I think he's a football player. Is he a football? After he said, I would never agree with anybody disrespecting the flag of the United States of America. So people are the Saints QB Drew. So I'm gonna play this. I'm not a football person. Unfortunately, I'm not. But let's play this on the Neighborhood Talk and see what this is all about.
Shout out Michael Thomas, man. Way to hold Drew Brees accountable, Mike. I don't give a damn if he throw you all them touchdowns. Hold his ass accountable. Wrong, bad timing, Drew Brees. Bad timing, bro. All right, you play for New Orleans and you live in New Orleans. All them black people in New Orleans that support you, Drew Brees, you got to be a little bit more sensitive to the timing, bro. You can't just be saying shit out your ass. Yeah, you should understand. But y'all got to hold all y'all white teammates accountable, bro. Fuck all that shit. You know what I'm saying? We got to end that shit now. Ain't no straddling the fence. All right? Y'all got to check y'all teammates. Michael Thomas, I salute you, bro. Fuck Drew Brees. Way to check his ass. If you ain't down with us, then, hey, you on the other side. All that friend shit and acting like you support us, acting like you really down with us, we ain't buying that shit. All that half-ass supporting us, we ain't down with that. The same motherfucker you half-ass supporting is the same motherfucker you throwing them passes to that make you get all these goddamn yards. Facts. But y'all don't like the truth. Shout out Michael Thomas, man. Way to hold Drew Brees.
And that was Michael Thomas said he don't know no better. We don't care if you don't agree. And whoever else, how about that? Michael Freeman said, how can anyone watch George Floyd get murdered and their first response is then asks about respect the flag? This is Michael Jenkins, Drew Brees' teammate.
Our communities are under siege, and we need help. And what you're telling us is, don't ask for help that way. Ask for a different way. I can't listen to it when you ask that way. We're done asking, Drew. And people who share your sentiments, who express those and push them throughout the world, the airways, are the problem. And it's unfortunate because I considered you a friend. I looked up to you. You're somebody who I had a great deal of respect for. But sometimes you should shut the fuck up. Our communities are under siege.
Wow. Let's get to this piece. So this LeBron James said, it is surprising at this point. Sure isn't. You literally still don't understand why Kaepernick was kneeling on one knee. Has absolutely nothing to do with the disrespect of the American flag and our soldiers, men and women who keep our land free. My father-in-law was one of those men who fought as well for this country. I asked him question about it and thank him all the time for his commitment. He never found Kaepernick peaceful process offensive because he and I both know what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. God bless you. And of course, Jamil Hill said Drew Brees is white. People shouldn't assume that just because someone's white is around black people that they understand black issues. And of course, this is what he said. So let's press play.
Well, I will never agree with anybody disrespecting the flag of the United States of America or our country. Let me just tell you what I see, what I feel when the national anthem is played and when I look at the flag of the United States. I envision my two grandfathers who fought for this country during World War II, one in the Army and one in the Marine Corps, both risking their lives to protect our country and to try to make our country and this world a better place. So every time I stand with my hand over my heart, looking at that flag and singing the national anthem, that's what I think about. And in many cases, it brings me to tears, thinking about all that has been sacrificed, not just those in the military, but for that matter, those throughout the civil rights movements of the 60s, and everyone and all that has been endured by so many people up.
All right. So you heard that. So go ahead. What do you have to say about that?
Just talking, bumping his motherfucking guns, ain't talking about nothing. Dude, first of all, it ain't about the flag. And I've said this 110 times to a lot of other people that have had an issue with black folks taking a knee during, a knee during the national anthem. You, number one, who the hell are you to tell us what we're supposed to do or how we're supposed to feel and how we're supposed to think? You have your thoughts, we have our thoughts, we have our opinions. Ain't nobody disrespecting no flag. It's not about the flag. It's about what your fucking people keep doing to us every time we turn around. We take that particular time to say, hey, we're going to pay homage to our men and our women. We're going to let you guys, we're letting the world know this is how we feel. This is what's going on. It's not disrespect to the U.S. flag. Disrespect to the U.S. flag would be one of us taking it, setting it on fire. One of us saying, fuck it, whatever else, and just being disrespectful. Sir, at this point, I just want to say something. Nobody gives a fuck about how you feel. You can take your thoughts, your opinions, you can take your beliefs and stick them up your ass. Nobody give a fuck. Next.
And then you working with black people, majority, and
fuck you, dude.
And you see how Colin Kaepernick was white ball. He wasn't black ball. He was white ball from the NFL. And having that conversation, a lot of these white folks are getting exposed. And just because you are working with black folks don't mean you down with the struggle. And see, I'm glad that they're doing these interviews. I'm glad that black folks, because now they're speaking out. And the reason why they're doing it, because of pressure, because of international pressure. And they know if we don't speak out, we're going to be labeled a coon. So they're speaking out. Trina got dragged, and to the point that tomorrow, I want to put that on the screen, that they released a statement that it was so bad with what she said of the pressure with the radio show that today, they actually going to do a show of her addressing what she said about Black people and what she said. So I'm going to put that statement on here, the radio station. And this happened like really fast, like earlier yesterday. And they put on her in the night.
And I'm going to tell you something, Mark.
Listening, and we hear you. Trina will be addressing her comments tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. on Trick and Trina morning show. And I believe that's Florida. So that will let you know right then and there that conversations are going on. Justice is going to be swift and it's coming fast. And I don't believe that she should lose her job, anything like that. It's just we should educate our sister in that instance that her delivery and her words it was just wasn't right. And she was emotional. She was pissed.
I'm gonna say this, and I definitely agree. My thing is to Trina, it's not even necessarily that I want an apology. I just want you to do better, my sister. That's it. You ain't gotta you don't owe me nothing. But at least give your fans that respect. Give the people that back you up that respect. You know what I mean? And because my thing is, girl, if that's truly how you feel, do I need to go in my room and throw out them CDs? Because I've been a big fan of Trina since day one. You know what I mean? Even when I was a teenager, not knowing I was gay, but I always loved me some damn Trina. So I'm just saying, it's one of them things where it's like, girl, we support you. We're your biggest audience. Like that's really a letdown. You get what I'm saying? And then also to what's that football player's name?
Oh, you're talking about
we were just talking about.
Oh yes,
what's his name?
You're talking about. Let me make sure I get his name correctly because I'm just bad.
I just forgot his name that quick.
Because I don't even listen to football. Yes, it's Drew Brees.
Drew Brees.
Yeah.
Brees or Brees?
Brees. Just call him Drew.
Okay, Mr. Drew. Okay. And just like with him, you around all these Black folks, you in our face doing this and doing that, then you say what you're saying. So like I always tell my fellow Black folks, be careful who you surround yourself with. A lot of people, let me tell you something, and I've always said this, Marquise, they'll invite you to dinner. They'll have you sing at their birthday party. They'll even have you get up and drag and run around with no heels on. But the moment the doors shut, the windows close, baby, they'll read your ass for filth.
Wow.
They'll pop, baby. Look, they'll pop your kernels. I'm just saying. So you gotta be careful with who you surround yourself with, who you call your friend. Me, I'm gonna tell you something. When I meet people, even coworkers, and I know it ain't necessarily the right thing to do, but I ask them about their political beliefs. I ask them about how they feel about racial issues. I bring up all those things, and I'm telling you something. I'm being honest with you. That determines whether I deal with you or not. If I truly know that you don't care for me and my people, if I truly know that there's something about me you don't like or you're not into as a whole, I'm just saying, I just leave you alone. I won't make a big deal. I won't try to explain nothing to you. I leave you alone. You stay right there in your foolery.
Right. So, and this is the piece that I want you all to hear. We're talking about this is Young Miami on Black crime, has nothing to do with police brutality. Let's see what she have to say concerning that.
Talking about, I'm not gonna talk about it because I don't feel like going through that. The importance of the message is Black Lives Matter. We're talking about police killing innocent Black men and stuff like that. We're not talking about Black on Black crimes. Niggas not killing niggas because they niggas. Niggas killing niggas in the street because of what they got going on. We're not talking about that. That's a different situation for a different time. That's a whole nother subject. It's like if I go to the store and I got $20 and you feel like my $20 fake, that shouldn't cause me losing my life. I should just go to jail or whatever it is. It shouldn't lead to somebody being on the floor crying for their mama saying, please let me stand up. I can't breathe. That's like, just to watch that shit hurt. Like, bitch, imagine that being my son or my daddy or my uncle or my son on the floor talking about. We're not on the floor saying mama, like that shit hurt. That shit should really, like, I feel like if you don't feel that, if you watch that video and that video don't make you feel no type of way, you just I don't even know what to say, my nail bro, excuse me, but like every time I watch that shit made me emotional. It on the floor saying mama, like
so that was her point. So what do you have to say about that? You know, people, I believe that's a different issue. You can't mix.
Well, I'm glad that. Well, I'm glad that you're talking about the young lady that was just on camera, right?
Yeah, Young in Miami.
Well, I'm. What's her name?
Young in Miami.
Okay, I don't know who she is, but good work, my sister. And I'm glad that she broke that down in a way to reach out to us. You know what I mean? To the different, because I'm gonna tell you something, and I've always said this. It's good that we have different styles and different types of people to touch on things, because how I may explain it, somebody else may not understand that. To me, it's good to have somebody, even from her standpoint, from other standpoints, to break that down. Because I love the fact that she said that. She said, "Y'all talking about the black on black crime?" She said, "Black folks ain't killing each other because we niggas. Black folks have killed each other based upon, you know what I mean, what the other one got or something like that, which don't excuse it, because a killing is a killing, period. You know what I mean? It doesn't excuse it, but it's a different thing. Some, like she also said, it sucks that, she said it's a different situation because he's on the ground, you got your knee in his neck, and he's been crying for his mama. That's a whole different situation. And it sucks, And again, I'm glad she shed light on it, and I'm also glad she did it the little hood way, because I'm hood too. She kept a straight trill, and I like that. Like, just flat out, straight to the point. That could be my daddy, my brother, my anything like that. Yes, you better tell them, sister. Shit.
And that's like the conversations that we have to have as African American people, because if we don't have these conversations out and about, we will continue to have the same results. But Khia called out the mayor of Atlanta, and so I'm going to play that. Khia, y'all know who Khia is. I love Khia. And she is telling you that she's down with the struggle. So I'm gonna play the audio of that.
I'm not a big fan of Khia, but I respect her as a sister. But I'm not a big fan.
And this is what Khia had to say about Miss Bottoms, the mayor of Atlanta. Press play.
At the bottom wasn't nowhere to be found when her city was being burnt down to the ground, but on TV talking about turn the other cheek. We the people say we ain't got no more ass cheeks to turn, Keisha. They all twerking that Magic City. Them hoes been lost and turned out, and our boys been dying. So let's talk about the order. Now, niggas so weak and lame and fail to have real leadership. So everybody out there running them up without no plan. Gag order, let's talk about the order. The only person that Keisha could call was Tiffany T.I., the police ass, high yellow ass Harris. Police ass. Don't nobody respect T.I. T.I. don't even respect the white bitch he married. So fuck T.I. T.I. is the police. So he had no choice but to do what Keisha said because he worked for Keisha. Gag order, let's talk about the order. That's a part of his probation and parole to get on TV and be a tipster because he been a goddamn tipster. Gag order, tip of the dick, tip of the hymen, tip of the hose, that you tiptoe out the door with, tiptoe out on Piglet with. Gag order, the hymen checker, he enjoyed watching Minnesota burn, but once Houston and Atlanta started to turn up, he want to ask you motherfuckers to turn down. People say you and Killer Mike. Gag order, let's talk about the motherfucking order. Don't want the Waffle House and the strip clubs to burn down because that's all y'all got to do during the quarantine. Gag order, all y'all doing is eating and smoking and fucking and eating and smoking and fucking. And you want to make sure you got somewhere to eat and smoke and fuck at. Gag order. We the people say you ain't Brother Malcolm, you cousin Faith from Soul Food, bitch ass nigga, and we the fuck don't give a fuck about nothing you got to say, tipster. Gag order, let's talk about the order. You been out here fucking every whore on every street corner. So I guess we need to tell the ladies to open up their legs so we could keep this nigga busy and off the TV talking about a whole bunch of bullshit. Gag order, tipster, you and your small ass words can exit the stage expeditiously because we don't want to hear shit you got to say. Where is Oprah Obama? Only person Keisha could call was T.I. And then y'all wonder why these motherfuckers is out in the street without no leadership. They ain't got nobody to look up to. And Keisha, instead of you being safe at the news conference center down there, you should have been out there in the streets with the people. Instead of talking about your boys, bitch, you should have been everybody's mother on top of the motherfucking cars, burning shit down and protesting in your city and having your city's front and back, bitch. Because we're a little bit tired of hearing about you and your boys that's home safe while our boys is out here dying. So fuck you, Keisha. Fuck Shaka Zulu. Fuck Martin Luther, because he sure wasn't no king. Fuck all that shit you talking, T.I. Fuck Killer Mike ass too with them tears, because we done cried enough tears and we don't have no more tear ducts. Water ain't in our eyes to cry no motherfucking more. We the people that's tired of hearing about you motherfuckers talking about a motherfucker don't need to be tearing up the Gucci stove. Gag order, let's talk about the goddamn order. Now I will say fuck Atlanta police too, because they be doing some fuck shit, but you niggas know ain't nothing going on Martin Luther King. Y'all better carry y'all ass down there to the north side. I didn't see nobody in Cobb County. I didn't see you niggas tearing up in Gwinnett County, Clayton County, but I seen you motherfuckers cutting up in the city of Atlanta with Keisha ain't got no bottoms, crying, telling y'all niggas to go home. Gag order, let's talk about the order. All them fuck ass police that been doing black people wrong in Atlanta, Keisha, works for you. So fuck you and fuck the police. Like I said, a real bitch would have been out there on the front line protesting with her people. Gag order, let's talk about the order. Enough is enough. Fuck it up, burn it up, shoot it up, bang, bang. Fire, shooting, curfews, fuck them, arrest. We got money to get out of jail. If you go to jail, somebody gonna get you goddamn out. Because if you're gonna go to jail, you might as well go to jail for something. It's head busting time. Y'all heard what Ice Cube said. Fuck Good Morning America and fuck the police. This shit been going on since Ice Cube was young. Ice Cube old as hell, and it's still going on. Shout out to the good cops that's standing with the people. Shout out to the celebrities that's putting up money to bond the protesters out. Y'all wasn't crying when George was dying, so don't be crying while your shit getting burned up. Because again, all your shit can't be replaced. File an insurance claim, bitch. George life cannot be replaced. You can get your shit back, but George ain't coming back. Armand ain't coming back. Brianna ain't coming back. Trayvon ain't coming back. Eric ain't coming back. Michael ain't coming back. Sandra Bland ain't coming back. And the list goes on and on. So y'all want us to be mad because they burning your motherfucking department stores down, and y'all motherfuckers don't care about these people whose children have died that ain't coming back? Fuck you. While Keisha No Bottom talk about go home, what you should be saying was, when you finish here, carry y'all ass to Cobb County, Gag order, let's talk about it. Carry y'all ass to Brunswick and Valdosta, where them racist crackers is really at. That's where you need to go. Stay y'all ass off the east side and the west side and carry y'all ass to the north side and the crackers neighborhoods and let them be looking out the window with their children scared because they see a bunch of niggas marching up and down the street. Talking about Martin Luther sure wasn't no king. Ain't no time for no peace talk, Keisha No Bottoms. We fed up, Keisha No Bottoms. Malcolm X by any means necessary, Keisha No Bottoms. All you bulldaggers, you and the one before you, is disgrace to the city. No justice, no peace. Nothing but a few crackers, windows getting burned, and a few CNN builders, Gucci stores, Parada stores, all of that. Again, y'all niggas, them crackers don't want y'all in their shit no goddamn way. So you think we give a damn about them tearing up y'all downtown, tearing up y'all fancy ass boulevards? We don't give no fuck about that, goddamn. As far as I'm concerned, ain't nobody getting hung from trees, ain't nobody getting stolen, raped, ain't nobody getting drugged from the back of trucks for miles, ain't nobody got a knee on their neck for 9 motherfucking minutes, Keisha. So the war really haven't started. Y'all niggas still scared because all y'all tearing up is stores and property instead of asses. Gag order. When they go to burning up asses, then we'll have a motherfucking thing to celebrate. Beyond the flames, beyond the smashed windows, this is the outcome of years of violence against black people and people of color. But I ain't even gonna say people of color because I ain't really see no Mexicans and Jews and Asian motherfuckers out there. I seen whites and blacks. Okay, so ain't nothing wrong with them burning up them Arab stores. They don't give a fuck about us. Ain't no sense in crying about them burning up them Chinese hair stores because they don't give a fuck about us either. Because I don't see the Mexicans out there marching with us, and I don't see the Arabs out there marching with us, and I don't see the motherfucking Chinese out there marching with us. And if they do, there's a sprinkle of them. It ain't no motherfucking bunch of them standing tall. So we don't give a fuck about their gas stations, hair stores, and convenience stores and businesses getting burnt the fuck down, bitch. And for you broke motherfuckers that didn't pay y'all insurance, sorry for y'all, because your ass is just gonna be without a business. People tired, but we ain't through. So we the people advise.
Okay, that's enough.
And let the National Guards do their job before you end up folded up like a pretzel mixed with a grasshopper in the middle.
Okay, Trina. Okay.
Oh wow! Like shout out to the people.
I ain't got nothing to say about that. Just roll through.
I really I understand her frustrated, but she's right. Like if you're gonna do it in the hood, keep that in those areas.
I'll say this. She made some valid points. The only thing it was a couple things that I didn't agree with her on, but there was one thing in particular, Trina. Let's not say it's a whole bunch of black folks looting, because it's not solely all black folks. It's a little bit of everybody. So let's not do that, Trina. I mean, Khia. Sorry.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Khia. No, some of what she said was true, but some of the other stuff is like, okay, girl.
Yeah, and Khia have literally stayed very relevant after the T.S. Madison fallout.
I don't want to talk about that.
No, I'm just saying.
No, you can't. I'm gonna be quiet. I'll let you talk about that.
I believe Khia stayed relevant after that. Like she are literally trending and picking up traction because she's always trending. I don't know, because maybe you're not like really on all social media platforms, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and she's massively are trending on all platforms, and she don't have a radio show, right? So I just think that was dope that they call it, that both calling it out, and we see both sides. I see Trina's side, I see Khia's side. Trina is more so on the mainstream black corporate side. If you talk to black folks that own business, they're gonna stand with Trina. If you talk to folks that is about the struggle, they don't give a damn, they're about any means necessary, they're gonna be on Khia's side.
And here's the thing though. I am gonna say this though. I'm with Trina on the don't burn down the black businesses, don't do this, don't do that. No, I'm definitely with that. But don't, how do you say it? But don't just don't belittle your own people. That's my only thing. You know, I get it because I'm all for that. Don't mess up nobody's business. Leave that shit alone.
Absolutely.
There's other ways to protest. I'm definitely, Trina, I'm 110% with you on that. But the animal thing, girlfriend, no man.
Absolutely.
It's just a no.
And
just a no.
This is something else that fell on my spirit. The creator of BET, he came out, Bob Johnson, said that it's time for black people to get reparations. And I'm like, oh my God, yay! But you sold BET. So that was the reparations right there for so many people. So many African Americans could have been liberated with having BET completely owned by an African American. But you sold that to Veracons, you know.
Right. But not even just that, but let's be real. They've been talking about reparations for black folks for how long? They ain't done shit.
They've been talking, but people of power have been pushing that agenda. You understand what I'm saying? Now that black folks are waking up and they're burning up, you know, it's a resistance within the system in this country. Now it is popular to speak up for black issues, right? Because they see the overwhelming support of unity, of protests from all around the world. So you're getting companies like Bank of America said, we're going to commit $1 billion. Well, Bank of America, that billion is going to be folks with overdraft fees. So it's our money anyhow. Okay. But now you see Disney going to commit millions of dollars to the NAACP and organizations. But they could have been did this, but they see the resistance and they don't want their companies burnt to the ground. So they're going to show, hey, I'm down with y'all. Please don't burn our stuff up.
Absolutely.
Because that's the power in burning up property, is that you make people move. And they're now forcing President Trump. I'm hearing from different sources that he's being pressured to speak and address the nation and of calm, because they keep talking about election day, but they're saying that it's too much time from election day, that you need to calm this down before this whole country go up in flames. Now, let me ask you this piece, and I want to hear your point about political. Do you believe that Joe Biden should pick a black woman to be his running mate?
Do I feel like he should? It would be best that he did that. But if he doesn't, this is my thing. Regardless of race, just do what's right. I, I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to see another. I would love to see another colored person, definitely. I mean, another person of color in the White House in a leadership role. But if not, then let's have somebody that's at least going to get the job done and take care of business. That's all I'm saying. Be fair. Don't go in there with no hate, no evilness, no none of that. I
Mhm.
would love to see a strong black woman, you know, as vice president, hell, even president.
Absolutely.
I'm 310% for it, but at the same time, we do know how that goes. So, with that being said, if it's not going to be a black woman, black man, whatever, at least have somebody there that's going to do what's right.
Yeah.
That's all the people want.
I don't want to say this though. I'll say yes. It is time that black women get a seat at the table, because
I agree.
when you look at the statistics, black women vote their numbers. Black women is tired of just sitting on the sideline and not having being represented. I know you're tired, but when you want to, because I go on because I'm fired up. I'm not going to stop until we get true. I'm not going to stop until we get true equality for all of us, and that black people get a seat at the table. Because sitting on the sidelines, I have seen people that told me, Wiley, I don't do no politics. I don't understand it. Now, when your neighborhood's burning up, you can't go to your grocery stores. Wiley, I gotta get into. I said yes, because them grocery stores, when it get burned up, it's gonna affect you. This is the reason why you have to use your power and influence to speak out and to speak up. Because now
I'm gonna tell you something. And then here's the thing too. But then another thing I was trying to tell people is, be careful what you're doing when you're doing the ballot. Some people don't know politics. They don't know what congressmen is. They don't know what they don't know what city council is. They don't know this. They don't know that. So a lot of times, Marquise, when some people are going and they're voting, they're just checking whatever just to say that they voted. They're not really taking the time out to look at those names, read up on these people, do their own personal. I'm sorry, do their own investigations to see who it is that they're voting for. And I'm gonna tell you how I know this, because I never forget. I asked a friend one time. I said, "You voted for Obama, but who did you vote for?" I said, "But who are some of the council members you voted for? What else did you pick?" He couldn't tell me anything. He said, "Oh, I just checked whatever." And so I'm just saying, we really have to do our homework, and we really have to educate people, not just black folks, but people in general, better on how to vote, on how to do these things. Because some people, they're going and they're voting, but they're not. How do you say it? They're not voting correctly. Let me say that.
absolutely. And they're not
Have you ever heard that too, Pete? Some people, they just go there.
Absolutely, they just go and check. But again, who's to blame? The DNC is to blame. If you look at the statistics in Texas, 400,000 African Americans are not registered. So they have to do a better job engaging and getting the people out to vote. Bringing back Rock the Vote, Diddy. Bringing back Go Out and Vote, Beyonce. Bringing back telling Cardi B, your folks, to go out and register to vote. You all have to use your influence and power to inform your people. And if you don't know, get educated, because you have the resources. And let me tell you, everybody in this chat got access to Google. You can go to your I don't know about now going to the library because of the pandemic, but everybody have a phone and access. Most of us have phones where we have access to Facebook, Twitter, and Google. It is nowhere in the world in today's society that you're not educated and that you're not informed. Get on that phone like you hearing the mess and the tea, and search for these people and these candidates in your district. If you do not know who your state representative is, just put your zip code, your address, and it will pull up everybody. You should know these things, and you call your representative. And if they're not doing what they're supposed to do, make sure you bring all your family to go vote. Make sure you bring your neighbors. Make sure you out there campaigning. Get involved, because that is only how change will happen. Just like this protest, you are engaging. You are applying pressure. It have taken burning buildings to the ground for them to charge those officers and upgrade the charge for the original one that got arrested to murder. I mean, to second degree murder, and another one third degree. Even the officers that were standing and holding back the crowd, they even got charged. So because we are applying pressure, so it do work, right? So we have to continue to do so. Thank you, Sean, for coming on because
Most definitely, I gladly appreciate it. I know I'm kind of all over the place, and I'm not really myself, but my grandma's sleep. You already know how that is. So I
yeah,
can't really, normally I give you big and
I say I had to bring you on because I love bringing our Black gay brothers and sisters on because I have influence, I have power, so I invite the conversation. Even with the transgender sister, Ayana Dior.
Can we talk about that before we go?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. Go ahead, brother.
Can we talk about that? Okay. It's so sad that when it's one of we always say Black Lives Matter, Black this, Black that, but you ever notice how when it's one of us that something happens to, the world goes silent. It gets a couple of likes, a couple of shares, and oh, that's unfortunate. But that energy that we need for this to stop is just not there. That energy that needs to be put into holding people accountable for when they kill our sisters, for when they kill our brothers in our Black LGBTQ community, it needs to happen. It's the energy is just not there. And I also want to say this, and I don't know how I'm going to sound, but the energy ain't even there in our own motherfucking community.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because you have a lot of Black men and you have a lot of Black women that are a part of the LGBTQ community that don't like trans people just because they're trans. They feel like they're misfits. Some of them feel like they're, how do you say, they say that they're confused and different things. And this is, and some of these hurtful things are coming from our very own men and women in our community.
Go ahead, keep talking, but use it. Go ahead.
And you just wouldn't think that it would that type of negative energy would be coming from our very own, but it does. And I was just telling somebody the other day, we're always looking for love and different things and acceptance from outside, and we always want all these allies, but we're not sticking together. And I'm not saying all of us because a lot of us do, but the majority of us don't. That's just like when, may he rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle passed. I was very hurt because that brother did a lot for the Black community. But what really amazed me was how many of my Black LGBTQ family, how much of you guys went out to his services, went out to his all the different stuff that was going on for him. But when our very own passed, you guys are nowhere to be found. It's crickets. It's a handful of us. We got to stop picking and choosing who we're going to support. If it's one of ours, we got to come out in the millions, the thousands, the hundreds to let people know that they cannot kill us and they cannot do these horrible things that they're trying to do to take us out. And some of you guys have platforms and you don't even use them. It's very heartbreaking when I get on the internet and every other day, if not every day, one of our trans sisters or one of our trans brothers has been murdered. And then the most hurtful thing is that it's coming from our own men. It's coming from our own women. It's sad. Regardless of the situation, no one deserves. People. I don't know. People just don't deserve to die like that. I wish Marquise heard him bring his butt back because I'm ready to go to bed, y'all. I've been up all day. Come on, Marquise, come back. But yeah, you guys, it just it sucks and it's sad.
Absolutely. And that is why we have to. And you brought up the thing about Nipsey Hussle. I really believe that he have done a lot for the community and it was outrage. But if that was a gay guy.
Yeah, and not only that, but like I also said to Marquise about that was that a lot of our men and women from our community, they went out by the thousands to support Nipsey, and I'm all for it because that's one of our brothers.
Like Tony McDade, the trans man that was
Oh yes, I sorry, baby. I give you my hands and all my blessings and all my love, Tony McDade. I did hear about that, and that's very sad. You know, and again, and there was not a lot of light shed on that. It just wasn't. It was another situation where another trans part is someone else that's trans has been murdered. That's it. That's all. They wrap you up, put you in the ground, and that's it. You know,
Absolutely.
and like I said,
That's
but
why.
I'm gonna get back into that. Hold on, Marquise. But what I was saying was we have to do better. The same way that we go to these straight events and we support these straight artists, and we go to their services and we go to their protests, we got to do that for our own. And I'm saying that because I'm telling you, just like with the whole Malaysia Booker situation, my niece down there in Dallas, Texas, and I knew Malaysia Booker personally. It was very hurtful. It was very heartbreaking to know when I talked to my auntie that it was only a handful of people from our actual community that went out to the protest, that went out to the rally, that went out to the different things, with the exception of the services. Why aren't we the same way that we're packing out these pride events, the same way that we're packing out these Beyonce's concert? Why aren't we packing it out when people kill our fucking own?
Absolutely.
It's
And
it's it's it
I do want to
sucks.
play this.
We pick and choose who the fuck we're gonna support. I never understood that. We support everybody outside of our community, but those that are in here, those that are actually fighting and doing what the fuck they need to do to make sure that you're able to do what you're doing.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying, and some of you guys that love to sit up here and say, "Oh, trans or this or trans or that," let's be real, baby. It took the trans girls, the drag girls, to protest, the Stonewall riots, and the list goes on for us to be able to do what the fuck we're doing. At one point, we couldn't be gay. We couldn't be trans. You couldn't be up in drags. It just the world wasn't having it. It took
Absolutely.
people to sacrifice for you guys to be able to do what the fuck you're doing. Be respectful.
Absolutely. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play this video. This is Kurt Myers from Abouting Prosperity. The CEO of Abouting Prosperity is an organization that help bring awareness to trans issues, help
Mm,
LGBT folks as
yes.
well as the straight community, because that's what's how I was able to get on prep due to his organization. Of course, he said today was a
Yeah,
day
Bounty Press.
that I was thrust to the spotlight to facilitate a listening meeting with the city officials. I made sure to mention that all Black Lives Matter and was excited to see it reflected in the attendance today. So this is his let's see what he had to say.
Recent in Dallas, so we should be mindful of that. So I just wanted to say that since I do run a clinic, that that's something that we're going to have to deal with as well. So again, I was just kind of thrown into this. Thank you guys for coming out. Seeing all your faces is beautiful. We do it like this. No, I do this like this. I got something for it. Hold on. Ain't got that sanitizer. All right. Yeah, can y'all hear me now? Yeah. All right, great. So, who wants an opportunity to speak? Let's start there. All right, if you guys can line up over here by the city manager.
And of course, that was people that were speaking, and that was in front of the Martin Luther King Jr. Community Center in Dallas, in South
Yeah,
Dallas.
Kirk Myers does a whole lot for the community. Definitely. I'm proud of
So
him. Proud of my brother, most definitely.
absolutely. And he had Naomi. I was speaking with Naomi Green on yesterday,
Okay,
a transgender woman that works for his organization, and we had a conversation speaking of these issues, because I made a promise that when my show make it, when I get an audience and we have 100+ people watching in the early morning, thousands going to watch later, that I will never forget about the LGBTQ community, because so many of
Absolutely.
us get a platform with predominantly cisgender women audience, and we forget to talk about LGBT issues, even though we will take a hit in the ratings, because those same women that support us when it comes to celebrity gossip, they're not with us when we talk about LGBTQI issues. And it's going to be a resistance, right? Because some of those same women that see you, entertained by you, really behind closed doors think you're a fruitcake, or they don't really see
Right, and laugh amongst their friends and their family. about you. Like they'll laugh in your face and I mean, laugh with you, hey girl, what's up, bitch? And this and this and that. Oh yeah, girl, come do my makeup, girl, come curl my hair. And then I'm telling you, and then baby, the doors closed, the windows shut. I'm telling you, climb your motherfucking ass down. They'll
Right.
do it.
And I remember when it was a sister that I worked with. She was really good with the what's the tea, girl? Be, all down with the gay lingo. One day it was a conversation about her son, and they were talking about her son wanted a baby doll house for Christmas. And she said, my son ain't gonna be no F word, nowhere in the world. You're gonna get that S word type of stuff. And I was like, quite interesting that you hang around all these gay men and you talk the talk, you want the tea, but when your little boy wanted a baby doll house, your true ways came out. So if you really think that about you don't want your son to be an S word or F word, what do you think about those gay men or that you hang around with that you say these are your friends? So that's like a whole nother uncomfortable.
Some people are okay, and I'm gonna tell you this, some people are okay with gays until it's their child.
Right. Absolutely. They don't care, but if we come to their front door, they don't care. So thank you, Oshan, for coming on and speaking on
Most definitely
these issues.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And you guys, I do want to apologize now. Sorry if my energy was kind of low. Like I said, I've been at work all day. Then my grandmother's asleep. Don't want to wake her up, so I definitely have to be respectful of that. Grandma's old, so yeah.
But
yeah, normally I'm a whole lot of energy with a whole lot to say. And
oh yeah, and
anybody,
we have done a whole lot of shows.
Yes, we have.
And I've always been controversial. They think that I just started. No, I've always been that way.
How many viewers is looking at us right now?
Over 100.
I can't see no comments. I can't see
anything. Oh yeah,
I don't even know.
Because like I have to like put the comments on the screen because if you were on your laptop, you can see it. But I'm gonna give you the link. Do you have a YouTube account and you can just see?
Yes, I do. Okay, I'm sure they probably read me for how I look right now. I know, baby, they are letting me have.
Well, they drag you. They say you disrespectful. You don't know what you're talking about. They're gonna always drag. That just comes with territory.
I mean, I personally, that's why I don't do. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even tell many people this, but one of the reasons why I kind of stopped doing this was because of that. I know you're not supposed to let the comments get to you, but sometimes, maybe I just don't have the energy for that. Because remember, we used to go live every day.
Yeah.
Remember, we used to, baby, the shows were messy. We can be honest, they weren't positive.
It was.
Baby, the comments, the inboxes, the different things that would come up, it was just like, oh.
And I told you, and it was really fun on Facebook, but you stopped. And I was like, is you gonna do a show?
Because not being funny, but Marquise, but it got so time consuming. Think about it. I work full time.
Absolutely.
I work at Lowe's. That's one of my jobs. I cater on the side, and then I party promote and do all the other stuff I do. Doing all that, coming home, doing the show. Then you would get off the show, then we on the phone for another hour. Then another hour goes into 2 hours talking about this and that. Before we know it, it's 5 a.m. I still got to get up and go back to work.
Absolutely. Well, I work full time too. I work from 6 to 2. I get a couple hours of sleep and I do a show. And people will be shocked. My coworkers be like, I cannot believe you do a show. Come to work and do some more shows because this is what I'm called to do. I've been doing it for a long time. And only for me to grow and to be popular and to be powerful is consistency because I can't stop. And even when I saw Black brothers that jump on gay boys, that's a problem in our community as well, because that it still exists. I've seen people get bullied of being gay and commit suicide at a young age.
When I was a kid, even though I've always been a big, large dude and everything like that, I've had people try that shit. And what used to really hurt me and bother me was because this was coming from our own Black men.
Yeah.
It wasn't even, I'm being honest, it wasn't even the people outside of our community. It was our own Black men. Oh, you faggot. Oh, this and that. You ain't nothing but a fucking sissy. Call you a mook. I had this one motherfucking dude, he used to call gay men lambs for whatever reason. He said, oh, there go that lamb again. What the fuck?
You're right. See,
Like just yeah. So it was just like so, and then I remember they used to try to beat me up. Try keyword because I'm a motherfucking fighter. Oh yeah, anybody know me? They know I fight, but yeah, it's just crazy, and it sucked that it came from our own men. And I used to be like, why are you picking on me just because I'm gay? Like I haven't did nothing to you. I haven't even said nothing to you. What am
absolutely.
I doing that's bothering you? You know?
And what gets me when even like the coworker, it wasn't the point that she did not like gays, it was her delivery. Because I asked her if your son was gay, what would you do? And she said typically she's gonna beat that A. And that's a common practice in so many households that they think they can beat the gay out. I even heard my uncle say that you gotta beat that spirit out. But what if you can't beat it out? You know, what
You know that.
you know,
I,
and that's an uncomfortable conversation that guess what we have to have because millions of gay men and women have depression, psychiatric issues, and it's a common issue is they talk about they've been disowned by their families and etc. And even when mothers that will tell me, "Hey, Wiley, I don't want my son gay or daughter gay," I understand that. But if they is
mhm.
gay, how would you handle it? It's not
I mean, right,
we all.
and don't get me wrong,
I wouldn't want my
and
son or daughter gay, but if they is, how would you handle that situation? Because we could all have our desire for our children, but if it came out that your son or your daughter is gay, how would you handle it as a parent? How
but
would
I mean, right, yeah.
because we
But
all have
I'll say, but I'll say this though, I can even speak on me from experience. Like I remember growing up, my mom when I finally did come out, and I told my mom what it was. My mother said it's not what I would pick for my life, but I still love you.
absolutely see.
My mother never called me a faggot. My mother never called me out of my name, any of those things. Now I'm gonna be honest with you. So some of my other family members, the males, some of them were not too crazy about it and had a lot to say. But baby, I have a strong black grandmother, and she just wasn't having it. But I know first, but like I said, but I know firsthand from my situation with my family how it went on both sides. But I know my mother said, regardless of what you are, I love you. My grandfather, my grandmother, same thing. They said, baby, we knew you was gay when when you was 3, 4 years old. They said, we still love you. It's not what we want for you, but you're our blood, and we're not gonna turn our back on you. We're not gonna treat you differently. And then it's so funny because then you have some people, and correct me if I'm wrong, Marquise. I know it's going to a little off subject, but it's just the truth. Sometimes when they find out you're gay, they want to treat you like you're special, like you're different, like, oh, you guys, well, let's be nice to him. He's gay, and and it's like, no, child, I'm gay because I like the same sex. You ain't got to treat me no different, or or try to give me special privileges because of what's going on. I'm gay. I'm a human being. That doesn't mean nothing, So
Absolutely, because even when I had a conversation with my friend and her son was in the closet and she was having a
mm,
debate on it, and he said, he said, Wiley, well, he called him Mr. Wiley. I'm afraid because my father say all these things, and I'm afraid to say something. And I told him, just talk to someone like me, and whenever you're ready, when you're 18, then you can have a conversation. Because if you feel unwanted, I don't advise people to come out of the closet if you're dealing with a homophobic area because it can turn against you. So I
yeah,
highly suggest wait till you get a job, wait till you get grown, and get out of your parents' house and you live you live your life. But trying to tell them and live free, and it's going to be a resistance, it can backfire on, and that's unfortunate because I've seen so many young guys and girls get thrown out of their homes and they're homeless because their family said no, not in my
and
house.
the one thing I want to say on that note, I mean, not on that note. I'm sorry. The one thing I want to say about that too is that really bothers me is a lot of times people they'll put their kids out because they're same gender loving, they're gay, whatever you want to call it. That they call it so many different things now. But then let's just say daughter ends up pregnant. Let's just say the young man is stealing. He's a part of a gang. Nothing's said. Nothing's really done. But because we're gay, we're thrown out to the street. You know what I mean? Because like my one of my good friends in school, his mom put him out when she found out he was gay. But his sister was pregnant with 3 kids, 3 different baby daddies by the time she was 17. and mama didn't say nothing, just took care of the kids, just call it a day. And I'm not saying you got to go tit for tat, but it's just like, damn, so he can't be gay? Like you threw him out just because of his preference. It's like people, I just really feel like sometimes in our black households, we pick and choose who we want to hold accountable.
Absolutely.
And whose case we want to be we want to get on. And it's like, why do we do that? I mean, we should, yeah, you should still be loved regardless of whatever mistakes you make. But it's like, or let's just say a lot of times, in some families, not all families, but we've had situations where, some people in the family are touching our little girls and our little boys. That stuff gets swept under the rug. Nobody, nobody's talking about it. Don't say nothing about it. Just get over it. But the moment somebody comes out as gay, just get the fuck out. You got to go to the street.
Right.
Figure it out.
It's true. And this is what you do. Have those conversations. And on this show, baby, I get into the mess, and baby, I can get serious. And then I get right back into the mess, because I know these conversations need to be had, because I know I have young folks that watched yesterday. We had a beautiful conversation about Ayanna Dior and a young brother that's gay. He DM'd me. He said, Wiley, I enjoyed the show. He says not too many shows having these conversations. And he said, anytime I talk about foolish things, I get hundreds of likes from women. But when I talk about an issue about trans women, I get 3 comments and maybe 2 likes. And all of his posts averages 200 likes, 600 comments, a lot on his posts when it's about other stuff. But when it comes about trans issue, 3 comments, about 2 likes.
Yeah, I've always said that too. I'm just, the only thing I can say on that is, I guess you can say people are just into what they're into. What sparks the eye, what sparks the interest is just that because I say this all the time, Marquise. Even when you just post something positive, like Marquise, let's say I got on Facebook now and I said, "Oh, you guys, congratulate Marquise. He just graduated from college and now he's got a home and he's going to be a father." Let's be real, Marquise. You may get 13, 14 likes. But the moment I say, "Ooh, your child," I just put Marquise ass and I didn't put him out his house, baby, everybody coming to the live, everybody coming to the video. Now I got 5,000 friends. Now I have a following based upon what I did to you. Wow. And I harmed you. I'm just saying.
I hear you.
It sucks, but that's what happens.
Definitely hear you. And even those young men and women that were part of the beating of Ayanna Dior,
that was hurtful.
The authorities are investigating. Some of them, according to the reports, are being investigated right now. It's under investigation. No one, as of today, I'm going to recheck, have been arrested yet. But just know we have been doing things as well, because I said the police definitely should intervene, because if that was a group of white men doing that to a black woman, it would be international outrage. Or if that was a cisgender woman or a biological woman or woman getting beat by black men, international outrage.
It would be all over the world, and people, it would be televised. It would be everything. They'd be talking about it. But like I said, I've just come to realize that a lot of times when it comes to media, they talk about what they want to talk about, and if you're not it, you just not it. Especially when it comes to our trans women, our trans men, they just don't give a fuck.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on the show this morning. Thank you, brother.
For the 3rd time, I know. I'm sorry, y'all. I talk a lot.
It's okay, because you want to get some sleep. Because I know it's about 1 o'clock where you are anyway. Well,
baby,
2:19.
Bitch, why you didn't tell me you had this many motherfucking followers? Now I would not have did this live.
You
set me up. I got on this raggedy t-shirt. I literally, you got me. I got
you. Good, brother. It's been a while since we talked. I got a lot of followers. You know what I'm saying? I gotta share the light with you. You didn't know followed, but it's my hard work. I after being on Facebook, after going to the mental hospital, I put the time into my channel 7 days a week, 3-4 on average, about 3 shows a day. Talking about and yet working in a nursing home for 8 hours. And remember, we talked about that when I was talking with you. and I cried about issues that's going on. And now here we are today, because you have to be consistent. I didn't stop. Even my Wiggins, you were supporting of him, right? And he's at 80,000, he's at 80,000, had birthday to him. And you remember that, and you remember the beef that was going on years ago, and you remember that mess. But you were there and you saw it. So I love.
And here's the thing. Right, and I was gonna say about that. Here's the thing: now I don't even really get a chance to be on social media the way that I used to, because now my life is so busy. My grandmother's getting older. I've been, taking care of her a little bit more. Then I also, my job, I'm working more hours. You know what I mean? Than my other stuff on the side. So it's like I really don't get a chance to look at anything. But I want to tell you, the times that I have come on here and I've seen you, you're doing your thing. I didn't even know you had this many followers now, baby. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
Starting to make me wish I had to stop.
Yeah, because I didn't stop, and I don't brag. So people, they still think I'm so humble. I don't brag. So I was like, damn, well, Hollywood Unlocked talked about us as well. Jason Lee mentioned us, even though he dragged us, but they had us in the video and everything. But thank you, brother, for coming on. I want to hold you. Thank you so much, brother.
All right, baby. Take care.
All right, now. So as you all can see, good morning to everybody. How y'all doing out there? I went to sleep and slept really good, and I got up and I said, hey, let me get up and do a show. So I called Oshan. I said, listen, do you want to do a show? He said, sure, I would do a show. He probably thought I get like 3 viewers, 4 views. He didn't know that the show have grown to bigger and bigger things. But when you stay consistent, you grow. I'm just saying, when you stay consistent, you grow. That's just what it is. So good morning to everybody that is out there. So I want to go to Reverend Al Sharpton to a video really quickly, because this is day of a remembrance of our brother George Floyd. So let me go to Reverend Al Sharpton video. So good morning to the people out there, and I will drop the link if you want to come on. I will drop the link if you do want to come on to the show. So I will drop the link. So if anybody want to come on, I'll drop the link if you're up. So good morning. All right. So where is that? Right here.
Today is a national day of mourning as we have the memorial services here in Minneapolis for George Floyd, who was killed by police with a knee on his neck for almost 9 minutes. We remember the long list of those that were killed unjustifiably by law enforcement, and those that were killed unjustifiably because of double standards, bigotry, and racism. We think of their loved ones. We think of what they could have been. We think of the contributions that they could have made. And then we get up and do something about achieving justice and fairness and stopping this and building a new day. Today is a national day of mourning as we have the memorial services.
So that was Reverend Al. So let's go to this.
Let us also mourn those that have made a difference in your life. Those that did things that made you a better person, that contributed you to who and what you could be, and make a commitment on this day to live up to their expectations, their faith in you, their belief in you. Could have been one of your parents. It could have been a loved one, a mentor. But remember on this day of mourning for victims that they expected you to do your part to end the madness in society, in the community, in your own life. This day of mourning is not for sitting still. It's for standing up for those that did it for us. Let us also mourn those.
Right. So that was Reverend Al Sharpton. And as you all can see in this situation, we're having these serious conversations and our leaders are speaking up. People take Sharpton seriously. Exactly. People still take that shows up and cash a few checks and bounces. So Malcolm X is what you're talking about. What is Malcolm X? Okay. So I'm not going to get into that whole conversations of rolly eyes and all this type of stuff. I was just saying that you haven't one told the story about Ra Ali and Rich. So definitely having this serious conversation about all of these current events, because it's conversations that we definitely need to have as human beings, as African Americans with media, to bring those stories to the forefront, even though a lot of folks do not like the fact that we have these conversations. A lot of folks do not like that we took a turn and talk about this. But what else it is to talk about? This is at our front door. Every time I turn on TV, every time I look on YouTube, Twitter, you can't avoid it. Go to work, it's on the radio. It's literally everywhere. Everywhere. It is everywhere out there. So you have to have these conversations. So I will drop the link if anybody want to come on. You don't have to show your face if you're up. I understand you don't want to come on, but I will on this show open the floor up for anybody. And this is the time if anybody want to have a conversation about what's really going on. But it's so many leaders that are doing incredible work. Reverend Al Sharpton doing some great work for his organization about feeding families. I think what gets with Reverend Al, a lot of people are not in New York, so they don't understand what the National Action Network are doing because they're not living there, but they does incredible good work. But if you upset with Reverend Al, then you start your own organization and start it and put boots on the ground. If you think Reverend Al is not for the folks, you open up your own civil rights organization and you do it. Even when I open up my own organization or work, of course I'm gonna be judged. When you are successful, you will be judged, period. So you get ready to be called a coons. I was called coons. I get called that daily. And I do so much to help my people when it comes to media, when it comes to investing and helping, hiring Black folks and working with Black companies, even for my show, even putting my money in a Black-owned bank. I get called to being a coon because I said, hey, we shouldn't burn down our own properties and businesses. And speaking of that, I talked to a sister that was living during the era of those riots in New Jersey. And she said, Wiley, she said it didn't do, she said those businesses didn't come back. She said we had stores, we had shoe stores, we had laundromats, we had restaurants. And when those riots happened in New Jersey, it didn't come back. Even in Detroit, I talked to some folks, they said, Wiley, we was here before. And when those places burnt up, we did not come back. And Detroit are still suffering, still parts of Detroit are suffering from the riots in the 60s. So they were saying like, it will take us back, and it hindered us because we already struggled to get capital. So we don't want to struggle to the point where all of our stuff is gone. We have to start back all over again. That's what we were saying in that piece. But I love the fact that we have these serious conversations, even in the chat, even on YouTube. But let's keep that same energy when it comes to a politician. Let's keep that same energy when it comes to going to the voting poll. Let's keep that same energy when it's about cleaning up our neighborhood. Let's keep that same energy when it's talking about making sure that we are having conversations in our children's school. Let's keep that same energy when we are trying to demand that these corporate America, these businesses in our community, invest in our community. All right, let's keep that same energy. That's what I have to say about that. So we have a caller on. So unmute yourself. All right, unmute yourself. All right. What do you have to say? Hello, Ready Rock. All right. All right. The mic isn't connected, so make sure your mic is connected. Make sure it's good and connected and everything. If you want to come on, Make sure that's connected. And if not, I can definitely get the phone lines booted up. That's no problem. Go ahead, ready, rock. You're live. Hello. I can hear. Is you connected? Let me see. Up early. Give me 1 second. We can open up the phone lines, no problem. If y'all having technical difficulties with StreamYard, because I do know a lot of folks don't know how to use it. But if you want to come on, I will open up the phone lines as well. So give me a second. So we had to get up early because these stories need to be talked about. And of course, we talked about George Floyd. The autopsy report did come on about that he had COVID-19. So even with the protesting, they're still out protesting. Last night, they was really all out in DC. They were protesting in LA. They were still protesting in some parts of Dallas. So they're still protesting all over the country and all over the world. So people are protesting. Ready? I can't hear you, so I will open up the phone lines. Give me a second, and you could just dial the 646 number because I see it on there that you are doing it. So we thank you so very much for that. All right. He's proven agent people need to research before they start talking the information out of their whole agent people sharp. Well, again, he does a lot for the community, and I challenge people when they say these agents and all of that. He does a lot to help the community, and I'm not going to sit here with this behavior of agents and all of this type of stuff. And I challenge that, just like I challenge the young pharaohs that say something negative about Minister Louis Farrakhan, because it was some things that he was saying that just was not true. It was some things that he was saying that need to be challenged and called out on. And I said, because I lived in Chicago, when it comes to Reverend Jackson, when it comes to the Nation of Islam, they have done incredible work when it comes to those areas. Absolutely incredible work. The nation actually wanted to get contracts, to get security contracts, to even patrol the streets, and the city denied them to have it. So a lot of times people be judging folks. And then I remember when Farrakhan would come to the neighborhood, it will literally just be out the blue, a shooting or something would happen, and they would blame the nation. So Farrakhan didn't feel though that it wouldn't be good to keep coming in the neighborhood, and they're spinning this narrative and blaming him for chaos. And that's when I knew that it would be people that will create chaos just to embarrass somebody like that. And then people are saying, where's Minister Farrakhan? Why is he not on the front lines? Well, first of all, he's in his 80s. And second of all, if you do come out on the front lines, it will deter the movement.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4,
they will definitely
3,
say that,
2, 1.
about him being this. And so a lot of times, to keep the peace and to keep the unity, he does stuff behind the scenes. But best believe he have helped a lot of people. He have helped a lot of people with the Congressional Black Caucus. He have given a lot of money to the Congressional Black Caucus. He have given a lot of money to Black candidates. He have given a lot of money to organizations. He have advised so many people across the country. Even Keith Ellison, the Attorney General, went to the Million Man March. And after that Million Man March, he got inspired to get into politics. Even the AG of Minnesota, went to the Million Man March. But then when it's time to stand up for the minister, he got very weak-minded and tried to denounce him. But he was a part of the nation. And what gets me, a lot of these leaders, these Black men that are in the seat of power, they were at the Million Man March. They were there. They participated during that powerful era, and they sit and talk with the minister privately and have these conversations. But when it's time to keep that same energy of support, they want to treat him like a prostitute and just want to put money at the light, on the dresser drawer. But when it's time to stand up in the light, you want to be weak-minded, and you definitely don't want to do it. And that's just what it is. People will say, "Oh, Wiley, you brainwashed." Exactly, I'm brainwashed. I'm brainwashed to believe that I lived in those streets, and I seen how the nation was active. I seen how Reverend Al Sharpton was active in this organization. I've seen how Reverend Jesse Jackson organization was very active in the community. I seen how they would help to get policies changed. But of course, we don't have Black media on the forefront like we used to. So it's hard to put the narrative out, and the narrative they have out is by white media that deter Black folks from supporting these Black leadership. Should they be criticized in some areas? Yes. But again, if I'm not sitting and actually on the street participating, it doesn't make any sense for me to sit here and judge them. It doesn't make sense for me to sit here and call them out. Ready? Your mic is muted. You got to unmute your mic because your mic is not connected. So we'll bring you on. You could just call in 646-716-8447. Go right ahead because I can't hear you. Your mic got to be connected. That's why I told you to call the 646-716-8447 number. And I see a lot of African American. One brother said, "Oh, Wiley, I don't like Reverend Al Sharpton. He this, he that." I said, "Well, sir, why don't you start your own organization? Why don't you start your own organization?" "Oh, I ain't got time for that." But you have time to complain. If you have all that energy to set all the complaining, why don't you start your own organization? Then you will see how it is. And then when you be successful, just know they're going to call you out. Because I've seen it happen with the Sean Kings, even though he should be criticized for some of his ways, but it is what it is. Black people have media since when Black people did have media. We had so many. We had the Black newspapers all in Chicago. We had Black news media in New York. Black media is being erased. It's coming extinct. And when I'm talking about Black media, I'm talking about 100% African-American owned Black anchors. When the last time you can turn into a Black news show? I know BET finally now are doing it with Mark Hill because it's popular now. But how long is that show going to stay on the air? TV One had a Black show, a news show. It canceled it. But major networks that are catering toward the Black community do not have these networks. I know BT now are just doing it, but what about the OWN network that cater to Black folks? Every major network that cater to African Americans should have a show that's by us, that speak to us and our lenses and our language. And we need more. I know Revolt have one, are now getting into a Black show, but where we're talking about a Black news show on a daily basis, and those shows unfortunately doesn't last long. It doesn't last long, right? It doesn't last long. Just like the NAACP, a lot of folks speak about them, and I used to be one of those Black people, put the NAACP in one box, but NAACP works by local chapters. In certain parts of the country, NAACP does an incredible job. Some chapter do a shitty job. So, but I've got the information that if your local NAACP chapter is not doing what you want them to do, you get some brothers and sisters together and you start your own NAACP chapter and you implement the change that you want to implement. See, that's the type of Black brother I'm involved. I don't just sit on the platform like Tariq Nasheed, Young Pharaoh, all of these other Black males that dominates the media into conspiracies. And when it's time to hit the front lines, they're not there. When it's time to they're not going to go on the front lines and invest and do all that. They're just going to criticize. But all of them have a PO box. That's government. Every single one of these Black folks that sit with these big conspiracies have a PO box. That's government. You so woke about you anti the government, but you have a PO box. The last time I checked, the U.S. Postal Service is all government regulated. That's a government agency. I'm just saying. 7792 caller on the air.
Hello.
Hey, go ahead, sister. Good morning.
Hi, Wiley. How you doing?
All right.
I just wanted to tell you that I really enjoyed your commentary, and I I've been keeping up with you about a good couple of months now, and sometimes you get a little too silly for me, and I have to put you down. But then you come back with something great, and I'm like, okay, Wiley's doing it again. But on this topic, as far as the leaders are concerned, it is a catch-22 with them because they have our best interests, but they fighting against something bigger than us, you know. And they have their good intentions and everything, but it takes a collective effort from all of us to move forward and keep our leader encouraged, you know, because it can be discouraging, you know, when people are saying go vote and then people don't show up at the booth to get these changes done that we so desperately need. And today we're remembering George Floyd and the rest of them that have fallen. And I just hope that we take this day to reflect and also to be a better person. You know, I am from Detroit, and I was born right after the riots, and the effects of the riots are still there, strong. There's a program called Focus Hope, and Father Cunningham, he developed a place for after the riots, a food program that catered to the people in need after the riots happened, because we had lost all our businesses and the whole street of Woodward was lined up with businesses. It was a beautiful place to just stroll down the whole street, the whole avenue, and shopping was beautiful. There were Black-owned businesses. There were all kinds of shops and everything, you know, and to look at 12th Street, and it's just so much history that Detroit has and how it was affected by the riots. And I hope that what we take from this protest, because I'm not going to call it a riot, I'm going to call it a protest, because we only had a few incidences, and we can recover from them if we do it properly, you know. And I don't want the narrative that it was just Black people tearing down their communities, because we all see that it wasn't just Black people that contributed to that demise of companies and businesses and all that stuff, you know. So we got to get that out of people's mouths and out of, you know, that whole scene that they're trying to paint. That is not it. But it was a beautiful thing to see that this has affected around the world. It's not just America.
It's not just America.
You know,
Brazil,
and this is it's just a beautiful feeling, because I know when it first happened, I was alone and I just said, I feel like I want to do something. I got to do something. And I was on TikTok, and they had gave the numbers to Minnesota, you know, to the sheriff's office and to the mayor's office. So I got on the phone and I started making calls, you know, and it was just if you didn't feel outraged by it, you just a heartless person, you know. And it was a beautiful thing to see that, you know, we have so many allies that we didn't even know existed, you know. And we just have to stay positive. And you're right. Minister Farrakhan has been in the fight forever. I mean, I can remember him coming to Detroit, and we continue to buy our final calls and stuff to support the Nation of Islam. Although I am Christian, I still support the nation. And they were committed to their causes, and they still are. But Minister Farrakhan, he's 80.
He
can't get around. He can't travel around the way he used to.
Absolutely not.
Know?
Even Reverend Jesse Jackson is old now. He had Parkinson. He can't even get around now. Those leaders, they're older now.
Yeah.
It's time for us to pick up the fight now.
How many protests have Reverend Jackson been in? God Lord. He was back when Martin Luther King was here. Come on now.
And speaking about Reverend Jackson, because of his presidential run, that birthed President Obama. That laid the groundwork in the spirit that a black man can become president, because Reverend Al Sharpton, his policies that he had, you even had Bernie Sanders duplicating Reverend Jesse Jackson, his campaign promises or his agenda that he wants to do for Black America, and Bernie Sanders duplicated that. So, but that came from Reverend Jesse Jackson. You know what I'm saying? So many African Americans that we look up to were young, like in their 20s, working for the Reverend Jesse Jackson campaign, and now they are pundits, and now they are on TV. Now they're running campaigns all over the country. But they got they got their training for working with Reverend Jesse Jackson.
But you know what? We can't count out these millennials, because I am Generation X. I'm 47 years old, and I'm looking at these millennials. They are out here. There are some good young people out here. They are leaders in the making. I am listening to a lot of their commentary, and I am so proud of the young people that are coming up, these millennials. They are getting the bag. They are working for themselves. They are self-leaders. They are so woke. They are, this one young man, Conscious Lee, he is so woke. I was like, oh my God. Was I like that at 27? I was halfway there. And I am just proud. I am proud of the young people that's coming up. People shit on people so much, but I listen to the young people. And I know Quincy Jones said a long time ago, the reason he stayed young is because he listens to the youth and try to get an understanding of the youth. You know, so we got some leaders in the making. We just got to get strong and listen to them, listen to what they have to say. Because I look at you, Wiley, it's a lot of things you say. And I said, this young guy, he got it going on. And by the way, I'm bipolar too. So that little incident at the library, oh, please, Detroit got a lot of stories on me. So don't even worry about that. You can overcome that. So yeah.
Thank you so much, man, for that.
Yeah, and that's why, that's why I connect with you, because I know that, being bipolar, we have to get our sleep. That's why I be like, Wiley, why are you up now? Sometimes I be like, Wiley, you been asleep. And then I'm like, let me take my butt to sleep.
Absolutely. I did go to sleep.
Because I want to start my own YouTube channel speaking on mental health, because I really believe we need to have a big conversation about it.
Oh, absolutely.
Not just and really get in depth with it, because a lot of times people just want to say they have anxiety or I have depression. But let's get down to it. Are you really diagnosed, or are you just sad one day and want to call it depression? Because it's a whole different thing. A whole different conversation.
Me? No, I'm diagnosed with it.
Huh?
No, are you talking about me, or you were talking in general? But for me, yeah, I'm down.
No, I'm just saying what people say. They might be.
Oh yeah, that's what people say. Yeah,
I suffer with depression.
Right.
But a person that's been on medication since she was 18 years old, and I've been on everything. That's why I'm like, we have to really get in tune with ourselves. And I can applaud, there I go again with the young people. They are in tune with their mental health. They are in therapy. There are more kids, young people in therapy than ever.
Yes.
Because back then, it was shocking for you to go to therapy. But these millennials, they got their therapists on speed dial. I was talking to my son, he's like, I think I'm getting ready to go see a therapist. And I'm thinking, he's 27 years old. He done seen a lot. He done grown up in the street of Detroit. I got 3 sons. And that's why I'm like, I definitely want them to get something together for this change, this police brutality and this police reform. Because I have 3 sons.
On that. And that's what they definitely need. Get your last point, and I'm gonna go to this next caller because we almost at our time now.
Oh, okay. And they're grown living in Detroit, Michigan, you know, and they're out there protesting. And all I'm saying is, y'all be careful, you know. But I know it's something that they gotta do, you know. But thank you for letting me share and continue on. And God bless you. And thanks for letting me come on and spill my beans this early morning.
Absolutely. Thank you. 4429, call you on the air.
Good morning.
Good
in
morning.
My morning voice.
Good morning.
I just want to say that Farrakhan and Jesse Jackson and those guys, Martin Luther King, they laid a groundwork. Now, Black Lives Matter, the Black Coalition, and it's a lot of organizations out here now. They're laying a groundwork, and they're going to do their work. Then, when we're no longer here, or we get way older, then it'll be other groups that will start laying another groundwork. So everybody has done their part, and just participate in a group that speaks to you. You know what I mean? We got to stop criticizing or whatever, you know, and focus on what we can do and what's not, and not focus on what somebody didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
Because it may not have been for them to do, because can't no one person do it all, you know.
Right. And
so
also too, Blue Skies, a lot of people, and it's unfortunate, they listen to folks on YouTube talk about these leaders, and they're not finding out the information for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like if you talk to a person, they will like, well, this what this person said. But I said, have you lived in the city? Do you know? Because I know from Chicago, I've seen the great work Rainbow Push have been doing in the community. I've seen it. I witnessed the good work what the Nation of Islam would do. They would visit the hood. They would tell you to stop shoot. I know that verbatim. I remember Farrakhan recorded. He had a message for us, and he said, brothers and sisters, if you don't stop the violence, the police got equipment that can come in your neighborhood and that can wipe you out. So don't give the enemy an excuse to do that. And when I saw how the weaponry these folks have, they have tanks, he was telling us stuff that it started before it reached the news, and everything that he said was right, that we should not kill our brothers and sisters. He was talking about the gang culture. They would be all in Inglewood. They would bang on my door. I will never forget, the brothers of the nation will come on a weekly basis. They would be in the neighborhood. They would have the megaphones. They would have the Bing pies. They would have the Final Call newspaper to inform the people. And still to this day, they still have their own media, and they put people on. They have a school that they educated young Black sisters, teaching them different languages, because my cousins actually went to the school that the Nation of Islam have. They have them for years. I had some cousins that graduated from there, so they're doing an incredible work. But you won't see that on CNN, Blue Skies. You will not see that on MSNBC.
Well, I know, because I used to go to Howard, and we would get the tapes and listen to them, and the guys would be out there, and actually, a guy I went to school with, he became like a security for Farrakhan. But, you know, they laid their groundwork and they did their work. It's a lot of organizations out here doing work, so we can't be critical, even if Farrakhan is with Scientology. Like, how do we even know? Like,
right. And I think they got that twisted with the Scientology piece. It was something in that they were using, and that the Nation of Islam felt that they can use that something in there they was using, and they duplicated that in the nation. And see, what I do on this show, I'm going to get someone from the Nation of Islam to clarify what that was, right? Because I'm just not going to take somebody's thing because they made it seem like, oh, they sent us a no. It was something they were using that in the Scientology, whatever the organization was, and they put a piece of that into the nation, whatever they were using. So I'm going to bring somebody from the nation to speak on it, because I don't want to be that type of Black person. Okay, we're just going to listen to these rumors without asking questions and having that conversation, that dialogue. But if you don't ask them,
Yeah,
you
we
will
just
run with
need
that.
to focus on what we can do. Where we are, it's a lot of organizations out there. It's a lot of people that still need to be fed, and there's a lot of organizations still need money for food from the pandemic. It's still going on. It's a lot of Black business need to be rebuilt. I say start calling your congressperson and tell them you want to build for Black businesses that were affected by the riot because of police brutality. You know what I mean? And start putting pressure on them so they could get a bill so we could get a bailout.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
So start focusing on what needs to be done right now, not what somebody else is doing, even right now that you don't like. Focus on what you can do where you are, because it's all moving parts and it takes more than just one person. And we could criticize to the white meat, but that's not going to get us nowhere. We need to switch our energy into getting out there and be a part of the solution. If we're not part of the solution, then we're part of the problem. Get out there and campaign, get out there, register people to vote. It's a lot of stuff everybody can do. Everybody should be doing something by now.
Right. Thank you so very much for calling in.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Right. So ready. You're still not connected with your mic. So you got to hit the number 646-716-8447. And these are the conversations that we definitely have. I really don't get into that because what I do on the show, I can't hear you. Your mic not connected. So ready, Rock? Okay. You're going to have to call the number because we can't hear you. All right. And the number is 646-716-8447. So if you do want to hit it, you have to call in because I can't hear you. So we having this conversation, a conversation that definitely needs to be had. And I think the good, awesome work that the Nation of Islam continue to do, from the food drives, from helping, giving guidance to candidates that need it, going into and educating our brothers and sisters, getting brothers and sisters off the street and reforming their lives. I believe the Nation of Islam have an awesome track record for that. They don't get a lot of credit for that they are literally getting people out of prison, changing their lives. I've seen people that was addicted to dope, addicted to prostitution, addicted to alcohol, cleaned themselves up and got into the nation. So, and they're still doing that to this day. Brothers and sisters are just literally still a part of that. But of course, we don't see that on the national scale in media because we don't control media. That's unfortunate. 9273, caller, you on the air. 9273.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello, chat. I am trying to give you guys some information because it seems that this idiot in the chat likes to keep trolling. And when us Black women say that, or any woman with color, or it don't matter, say you don't want to be called cisgender because it's offensive, then I don't see why people cannot respect it. Because if people do their research, first and foremost, that they want to say, oh, well, cisgender, that's a scientific fact. That's what it is. No, it's not what it is. Are you aware of that?
Right, but again, it was just a term that different organizations said it will be a politically correct term, cisgender, or you could say women. Again, no. I don't. It will always be up for a debate. Some women don't mind, some is against it.
But no, you know where it came from, though.
I don't know where it came from, but when I talk to different organizations, they say that's the proper term when you're talking about that. That's the politically correct way.
Proper term.
That's and you're having conversations. That's politically correct term. I'm not saying that it's proper or it's
no. That's what
okay.
They're cherry picking and choosing that they want to call it, but that's not what it is. Cis is actually the Latin root that is the opposite of trans. When they came out with trans in 1992, that's when when they decided to come up with the trans, they wanted to put that for real women because of that is the opposite of the Latin root trans. That's where they came from.
Okay.
And that has nothing to do with that. That people need to get educated on things before they just try to make it fit somebody and make you actually answer to
So
that.
what do y'all want to be called? Women?
Because people are now being able.
So just call y'all women?
What are we?
I'm just saying. Would that make y'all more comfortable just to say, hey,
my question is,
with trans women?
Oh, now you want to talk?
No, because what I'm saying is, trans women. Oh, this was a transgender woman. Why not just call them women instead of trans?
Because they're trans. They weren't born women.
I mean, why just not call it? What if they want to be called women and that's what they want to be called? Shouldn't we give them respect and just say women? I'm just saying. I'm just asking.
To make us be called. You see, that sounds like
I'm just asking because if a person want to be called a woman,
because you're saying they want to be called this, but you say okay, it's okay because that's what they want to be called because they're in the LGBTQIA community. However, we don't want to be called that. It's a problem because that's not what we want to be called. You see what I'm saying?
So just call everybody woman.
Does that make sense to you?
It makes a whole lot of sense. That's what I said. Call people women, but when I do that, I get a phone call and say, no, Wiley, the politically correct way is to say cisgender women. And, so I said...
That's from people who... okay, here's the thing. Maybe you're not getting what I'm saying. Okay. You are a man, right? Okay. You... like if you said you identify as a refrigerator, I want to call you a stove.
See, but man, with me, I really don't care about. For me personally, I don't care about labels because even when I say I'm bi,
But you're still trying to label. You try to label cisgender.
No, even not that. I just did that because I work in media. See, you have to understand. A regular conversation, I don't say, oh, this is cisgender. When I do media, having a public forum conversation, it's politically correct to say cisgender when you're talking with a trans woman. So they're going to really say cisgender. I can't say as a male or as a man, oh, don't call them that. Now, women, you all can have that conversation. And that's why when I was talking to Naomi last night, I said, sis, it's time that women speak on all sides, that you all have this public conversation so each side can educate each other about what is appropriate, what do you feel comfortable with, what do you want to be called, because I don't want to disrespect you. I don't want to hurt you on either side. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to hurt you. So what is the way that we can do to move forward? And that's what I was getting to, because it is a division. Even yesterday when I did the show, I got so much comments of disrespectful, homophobic, transphobic comments, disrespectful comments. And these are folks that will laugh in my face and say, keep up the good work. I mean, I was like, wow, like if a person don't want to be called a man and you still doing so, and I can't even repeat the type of comments that I seen, but did it surprise me? No. I know I get called F words and S words behind closed door. I get it. I understand it. Who cares? As long as you watch. But because I'm not dumb, I know that it still exists in the culture and the fabric of so many hearts of people don't still to receive gay folks, LGBT folks, transgender folks, bisexual folks, period, because some just don't believe in it. I understand that. It's not about your belief. It's about your respect level. That's the conversation I think that we should have. And that goes on both sides. Women as well. All women should be respected. And if women don't want to be called cisgender, then we just call them, address them as what they want to be called. And that goes on both sides, in my humble opinion.
It's not what we want to be called, it's what we are. But here's the thing, Wiley. Also, like you're saying that, however, you still go along with, like when the Naomi person was on there, you went along with what they wanted us to be called It's like they want to call us cisgender, or you gonna call it, like, no, let them identify and call themselves whatever they want to call themselves. Don't let them infringe upon us, real women, as far as what we are. Like,
Right.
you're trying to say what we want to be called. Like, if I want to be called a refrigerator or a stove or something, or if I want to be called Your Highness or something. No, it's not like what I want to be called. It's what I am.
What you are, right?
Also, that goes
for gay,
like
but that goes for gay
Like,
men.
y'all-
I've
y'all
heard
wanna
people say that
fish,
I'm not a man
like
because I'm attracted to men. So that goes on all over. That goes all over conversations. You know, that goes
and
on.
but here's the thing, okay, about the like, about even with the fish thing, like, y'all want to try to make us like the fish thing. Well, what these transgender people don't actually realize is, if you do your research, back in May of 2019, a transgender woman actually got a new vagina made from fish skin, actually out of tilapia. It was actually made from fish skin, so technically they're fish.
Right, and
But
you know what? That
also,
conversation been
but
going.
here's the
That
thing,
debate.
They want to say, I'm still confused about them wanting to identify and call themselves women.
Right.
However, they want to hang on to their penis. The majority of them want to hang on to the penis. That's not a quote chick with a dick. That's a man with titties.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Well, but see, with me,
that's
see, with me, I can't get that disrespectful, because when you work in media, unfortunately, the times have changed. So you can't have that type of thought process. Don Lemon can't say that because he will be canceled. So those thought processes are different. People are waking up and they're counseling folks for saying that, right? We can no longer say that as working in a public place, working in media, the type of business that I do. It's just certain things that you can't say. Now, you can have your personal belief. You have a freedom of speech to say whatever.
Y'all tiptoe against the LGBTQIA community. Y'all tiptoe as far as what y'all want to be called as, what y'all want to be identified as. But when it comes to black women, well, you should like fish. Fish is a compliment. Fish this, fish that. Oh, you should like that. You should like it. You know, like, you trying to convince somebody. No, I'm not trying to be convinced that. Then, like, they try to say, oh, well, you are cisgender. No, I'm not.
Right.
No, I'm not.
And that should be respected. And that, I'm telling you,
cut it out. Like, okay, and then also this trying to say that being gay or being a transgender is it's just the same way as a person being black and this and that. No, it's not. I woke up black. I was born black. I can tomorrow choose to be trans. I can choose to be gay tomorrow. I can choose to be straight tomorrow. I can choose to be bi tomorrow. But I cannot choose to be a different ethnicity or race tomorrow.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
I agree with you on that point.
There are two things. That's like comparing apples and oranges.
I agree with you on that point. And this is why, with me, we're very cautious on how we handle the situation. But it's so many black men that have massive platforms that degrades women on a daily basis, and women will say it's okay. I was with someone's members only live, and some sisters were calling in. They said, we're fine with you calling us B words. It's okay. If a woman can't take that, they're just a weak-minded woman. They can't take being called a B, all that, then they just weak-minded. They ain't got time for all these weak-minded Bs. So it's okay for you to say that.
And then they can say the same thing. If y'all can't stand being called a sissy or F word, then you a weak-minded LGBT.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? If we apply
absolutely.
that same thing, that same rhetoric to that, then we're homophobic, we're transphobic.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And that's why I was saying, like, we can't say that.
People need to realize before they open up their mouth and let stuff fly out, how that same stuff can be used against them and actually apply to them in the same manner, because there's so many, like the dude you had on there, the 2 million lady that what was his name? The one that was talking all the mess.
Right. I don't what the one was talking all the mess. But let me see.
You B's, you H's and stuff and this and that. Okay. Well, here's the thing. You can say that because that's what you want to say, but we got a problem. Y'all weak mind. But if we call him an F word or
that's gonna be an issue.
Wrong.
Then they want to cancel you, right? Because like we're here, I've never
you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Right, because I've never been perfect in this instance because it is a challenging thing. Is it you damn if you do it, damn if you don't.
But you were calling us sis all last night.
Because this is the thing. It's damn if you do, damn if you don't. And what gets me is that you try your best to satisfy everybody in a sense that everybody feel welcome. But unfortunately, like I got on the phone with someone, I said it's impossible to do so because you're going to always offend somebody because somebody going to feel left out.
You have to stand on something. Like
and that's the challenge. And like what I stand on talking about being Black and having these conversations about making sure Black women have a seat on the table. I'm one of the bloggers on a religious basis saying that Joe Biden should pick a Black woman. It's not too many Black men that a lot of Black conscious folks support, but when it's time for a Black woman to get in the seat of power, they are against that. So it's a lot of folks in the conscious community don't believe Black women should be president. And there happen to be men. And I still stand on that Joe Biden should pick a Black woman to be his running mate. Because Black women traditionally have always stand on the side of their men. When Dr. King was assassinated, who continued the fight? His wife, a Black woman. Who made sure that his holiday was implemented? His wife continued the fight. His wife was Dr. King. That was Dr. King's secret weapon. See, a lot of people wasn't paying attention to Coretta Scott King until Dr. King was off the scene. And then you saw Coretta Scott King. She picked up his work and continued the fight. Just like when Malcolm X, when he was off the scene, his wife, Betty Shabazz, definitely continued his work, continued his legacy. And so it's time for Black women to get a seat at the table of power because they have helped many millions of men and women. Black women have helped them to get, and they still don't get rewarded for their hard work, for their dedication. And that goes and that goes for the DNC, because when it happened with Joe Biden, when Anita Hill was doing a confirmation hearing when she had her allegations of sexual harassment, Joe Biden disregarded what this woman was saying and did not allow other witnesses to come into place. Of course, he apologized for it, but when it comes to Black women, it's so easily to discard them. Even Black men, even I have to be criticized because I am a Black man. I come with privilege. During the Civil Rights era, it was Black women that were discriminated against. They couldn't sit on the main stage. That's why Mahalia Jackson, she was upset, and she told her in a circle that she always wanted to be a preacher, but she was forbidden to do so because she was a woman. So even though she can sing on the March on Washington, but she couldn't sit on the same seats as the civil rights leader. But she can get up there and sing "Precious Lord, Take My Hand." But when it's time to sit in a seat of power, those Black men in the civil rights era say, no, you sit in the back. So it was discrimination going against Black women. People have to understand Black men got the right to vote before women got the right to vote, and that including white women. So once our laws and stuff were passed, white women took advantage of affirmative action more than Black people, because white women were forbidden to get in professional jobs. But once all of those Civil Rights Act passed, it helped benefit white women more than any other group. So women still to this day get paid less than men. So it's what I call, it's an issue that we as Black men have to question, and we should be challenged and call out on our I would say bad behavior, mistreatment of women, and some of us mistreat women and not even knowing, especially if a woman say, I don't want to be called cisgender. So I have to apologize for that, because I try to satisfy everybody, and I understand your point, and I understand where you're coming from. Is she still on? Ma'am?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here. I can hear you. I'm just saying, But I know you said, okay, hey, yes, I'm a flip-flopper. However, when you get with your fellow people in the community, your whole rhetoric changes. And that's not
But it's
cool.
not
Like,
right to be
that's
it's not right for me to be disrespectful to them, though. You understand what I'm saying? Because
How
that's
is
not.
you not calling us cisgender women? How's that being disrespectful?
No, not even
to a
cisgender, not even cisgender women. The piece.
That's what you did
Because
last night.
if the guest called them cisgender women,
you started
and we're
bad
talking about
us, just like a white supremacist who get around they white friends, and then you were okay when they weren't around, but then when they come around,
so you feel as though being
you
called a
nigga,
cisgender woman
that's
for
the
you,
same.
that's disrespectful for you, and that's
Yes, it is.
okay. That's disrespectful. But what you should have done yesterday would have been appropriate is to call in and to have that conversation and to educate us on that, and we can have that
I
debate.
wasn't able to call in, but I was putting in the chat, but it was like it was being overlooked.
No, because the main thing what we do on this show, we allow people to call in. We really doesn't focus that much on the chat like that, because in that type of instance, we needed people to call in to express.
There were several people putting the same thing in the chat that I was.
I understand that, but you have a call in and you correct that because it was a transgender woman that was on the line, and she brought it up, and so that could be a conversation piece, because what we was talking about. We were talking about a sister that was beaten by a woman. It was a conversation that it was a thing that were going on. So we was just having that conversation. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Can you hear us? Everybody's good? Can we hear each other? You good?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, okay, even on that situation, I don't even know exactly what was going on with it, but I did hear the part where you were saying that like a man and a transgender woman shouldn't be, a man shouldn't hit a transgender woman. A transgender woman should not hit a woman, because at the end of the day, their genetic makeup is still male.
But I didn't see the piece that what gets me is they followed her behind the counter, and it was a lot of them. And I just said, is that wrong?
Oh yeah, that was definitely wrong.
To jump on somebody with all those people?
You don't gang up on nobody like that.
I just think that
I did hear you say that.
I just think that was wrong. All of those people, like, that was like, oh my God, because the lady was upset about her fender bender. The lady was upset about that, and I'm like, get the authorities involved, because we all know if I hit your car, ma'am, you're not going to get no money right then and there. Everybody know that. You file an insurance claim, you get police report, and that's how you handle that. That's wisdom. But trying to prove a point in that instance, I just think that could have went a whole nother way. That's just my humble opinion.
Exactly, but from the information I heard was that the transgender hit one of the women.
Oh no, you have to see the video. And I shared it on the Wiley Show Facebook page, and there was somebody that recorded when he was outside and recorded when they went inside the convenience store, followed her behind the counter, grabbed her from behind, they started punching her, hitting her. They tried to drag her outside. Then one of the store workers rescued her and locked her in the back. I seen the exact the video, because some other people saw clips. It was one particular brother was smoking a blunt. He recorded it all. She didn't hit
the woman.
I didn't see her hit the woman. What I saw was going on. The transgender woman was trying to get out of there to, run. It was a lot of folks. If folks punching you, hitting you, a lot of folks, you have to defend. That's a normal reaction, because it's a normal reaction. When
I don't condone none of that. You don't gang up on nobody like that. That's stupid. And anybody that's doing that, I challenge their manhood. If you have to gang up on somebody, because you need all these people to take down one person. If you're saying there's a bunch of people like that, yeah, that's different. However, the information that I received was that they were talking about, well, the transgender
woman was okay it was okay for her to hit a woman first and this and that. And I was like,
No, it's not okay
wrong.
for nobody to hit nobody because
at the end of the day they still have X and Y chromosomes.
right. And if that was a one-on-one situation, I can understand that point. But that was like my behavior. All of those people, and even Kamala Harris was forced to come out and say trans lives do matter because it was like, whoa, like and it was like, well, she hit all these cars. Even if someone hit your car, that does not give you the right to jump on a trans woman, just like with the Malaysia Booker. That does not give you a right to jump on somebody like that. Get the police involved so you get the police report. But you calling her all these words and jumping on her, what if she would have died? Then what?
Dying or not, that was wrong to be doing a whole bunch of people to be jumping on one person. That's wrong all the way around. But, you can't, as far as the person being transgender or not, that to me, that doesn't matter in that instance. You know what I'm saying? It all has to do with a bunch of people jumping on one person. Their sexuality or what they identify as has nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying?
And best believe
like
women.
If I go out here.
Oh, go ahead, sister. I'm gonna say this, but go ahead, sister.
if I go out here and I hit somebody's car and stuff, and then I'm like into it, and then a bunch of people jump on me, a whole mob of people, as you call them, then they wrong as hell. Like regardless, whether it's like that point, I feel like at this point I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Like the sexuality and what they're identifying as is being weaponized and is being the focal point of things, rather their right and wrong. Like their sexuality and what they identify as, it has no bearing on whether it's right or wrong. You see what I'm saying?
Right. But and the reason why people were bringing it up because the language, oh, that's a man, the F word, it was a lot of those going on as well. Because a lot of these guys sit here and do that, they be sleeping with the trans women. A lot of these guys that sit here and does all that stuff, they be in them trans women bedrooms. And that's a fact. A lot of these guys with all that bad behavior, calling them men, but do you have that energy when you sleeping with them? A lot of these guys,
and that's disgusting, and that's part of self-hate. And once again, if you don't like what you actually are, a part of you that is, if you really are attracted to that, then you either need to get counseling or you need to just accept it and keep pushing. There's no need to project your self-hate onto anybody else, no matter what it is. Like Absolutely. If you hate your own.
And I think that's what we were talking about, having that conversation and being understanding about that, because it was just wrong of having that all of those people just jumped that one person. Like, it just wrong. Like, that ain't cool to do. That's just real talk. Like, that ain't cool to do.
It's wrong, period. There's no need in having to bring in the fact that it's transgender or their sexuality and all that right there. Because, like, say for instance, then people are going to start saying, like, I'm gonna give you another example. Okay, we can have this outrage. Say for instance, if this person was an obese person,
right,
and they were saying, "Oh, you big, fat, nasty, obese." Okay, then at that point, we would still not be focusing on. Oh, well, that's fat shaming, that's fat phobic and all this and that. It would still be just the fact that they're wrong. And people like tend to add their, like, okay, if a person is ugly or not aesthetically pleasing, then they're gonna choose to call you what they feel is the nearest insult to their small pea brain at times. You know what I'm saying? So they might would have been like, "You ugly, fat, whatever,
Right.
So that's why I'm saying people focusing and trying to say transphobic, which that actually in itself is saying that you are in fear of trans people, which sounds crazy, just like arachnophobia is a fear of arachnids, spiders. Okay, so
why do y'all say phobia? That doesn't make sense. Why are they?
Well,
you're saying
because
they're afraid of the trans.
I'm definitely gonna have to have that conversation, and we will continue to get trans women on, activists that is experts in the community that can bring those points up, and we can have that conversation. But it's a big conversation. I do stand by the movement for Black lives because we are Black first at the end of the day. And we should be unified. And I tell, and shout out to the leadership that is in the gay community that are now starting to be more active, more active in the community by getting into social justice. And I urge all gay prides to put social justice on the agenda and to talk about Black Lives Matter. And so LA Pride is going to march in solidarity for the Black Lives Matter.
That's another way of being divisive. Like right now, we got too big of an issue on the table right now that we don't have time to be trying to, like, we go through y'all whole alphabet. Y'all say the animal alphabet, and like people are pansexual, transgender, asexual, intersexual.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Like that's too much for me to be worried about what you got going on in your pants.
Right. It's just how I look at it, man, to make it simple, treat everybody with respect. That goes on all sides. Because I think like women,
keep it in your pants and that's your business. If you urinate standing up or you urinate sitting down, that's your business.
Absolutely.
That's a VPP, a very personal problem. Like the world will not have to know that. That is not for everybody to know. That's a whole different topic. Now, when it comes, the problem is when you're on the down low and you are sleeping with women, and then you're actually a gay man.
That's a whole nother conversation.
And then you out here doing that. Then that's when it comes foul. Other than that, that's not for the world to know. I don't run around and be like, you know what? I'm a heterosexual Black woman. I'm a heterosexual Black woman. Like I don't like when I say
I don't think you even have to say
like,
that.
I'm not.
Right. But it's a conversation, and shout out to all Black women. Easy, my mom says she don't like to be called a cisgender woman, but she's
because that's not what we
because
are.
she said she don't know where that came from, and I said, I don't know where it came from either, to be honest. But
well, I'm telling you where it came from.
So yeah, but I'm just telling you, like, it just started to become popular now. I would say for the couple of,
but no, it's not really. It's not popular. It's well, y'all made it popular, but
yeah, I'm just saying like more. Right, it's just more ways of it. That's how I be calling people. Oh, how you doing? I really like, how you doing? Good morning, because people get offended. Some people don't even want to be called a man. They want to be call them they. It's so much. Ooh.
And then they be with this.
It's just a lot.
Why do gay men want to be called one of the girls? Like that sounds crazy. But they say they're not trying to infringe on women and not trying to imitate women. Yeah, you want to be called one of the girls.
Ooh. It's like, ma'am, thank you for that, because like I said, it's so much that men and women are being called that it's an issue that
they're not trying to participate in the erasure of Black women. Yeah. However, they want to be called one of the girls. They want. You said it's a problem with the pronouns. People have a problem with pronouns. They want to take on our pronouns. She, her.
Yeah.
But you're not trying to infringe upon us.
Absolutely.
Like it makes sense.
Yeah. So it's a lot because it's some women that I talk to that don't mind it. That understand it. So it all depends upon who you ask. It all depends upon who you address.
That can't come from an overwhelming sense of you call me ugly so long, then I just accept ugly because it's funny, it's cute. Like no. Some people have low self-esteem and will go along to get along just to be friends with some people.
Real talk. Absolutely.
Like,
you're right about that.
It's not what you call me, it's what I answer.
It's what you answer to.
That's why I don't.
Facts. No, I'm saying I'm agreeing with you on there. I said that's facts. Absolutely. It's not what they call you, it's what you answer to. Thank you so much, ma'am, for calling in.
Okay, then. Thank you.
That was, man, that was great. A powerful conversation that we're having. I want to say, man, this is incredible of the dialogue that we're having on the show. That to me is incredible. Black, white, whatever you are, I have to say, this is incredible. Beautiful. We've been live for almost 3 hours. I want to be called rich. Yes, come on. Come on, somebody. We thank everybody. Thank you all for y'all contributions, because no one, I'm not going to say no one, it's not too many platforms are talking about these subjects in depth, and still is more work to be done. So no one really talked about the story about Ayanna Dior. So no one talked about these stories. No one had these conversations. So we definitely need to start having them more often. I am on Instagram. So a lot of the videos that we were talking about, if you want to see that, that incident is on my Instagram. So I will pull it up, my Instagram right now. So if anybody want to follow me, that's at Wiley Show. I just really think that situation. Wiley about to catch heat for supporting heterosexual women. They don't like the side of Wiley. They like confusion, and it's a way. But I would not turn my back against any community that I was a part of and that I started my media. That's why I got my foot wet in the LGBT community. That I got my foot wet in that community. So I will not turn my back on the community. We're going to have those conversations because it was only right to talk about that story. Just like Breonna Taylor, that needs to be in depth talked about. So we're going to have a panel about that. We're going to get in depth about that. So it's a lot that we have to talk about, that we have to cover. And it's a lot that definitely need to be addressed. But whatever you are, it's a lot of work that African-American people, we are doing on the ground level. Some of us on the ground level, some of us is actually donating to the bail fund. I actually donated to the bail fund. We have some Black people that are on the front lines. You have those that are in the media, making sure the stories are being covered. You also have those brothers and sisters as lawyers representing the sisters in the movement for free. You also have those brothers and sisters on CNN giving the stories out. You have Congress, folks on the Congressional Black Caucus doing forums and getting people registered to vote, informing us to start early. You have Black churches are now putting social justice in their sermons. So all over is definitely great. You see African Americans, businesses, GoFundMe accounts, money are being raised. You have folks. Shout out to folks that are actually putting money in Black banks. Black businesswoman in California said, if her business burning down, keep her son from being killed by racist police, then burn, baby, burn. You know, so you have those that will stand by that energy. And I've heard some sisters and brothers that actually said that, said that is business owners said they don't care if it's for a greater cause. So I did hear that. So I'm hearing both sides of the argument. I've been saying that I was going to start whatever you want to start it. I see a lot of people. I had a sister that came to me 3 years ago when I first started. She said, "Hey, Wiley, I'm gonna start my channel. You think so?" 3 years later, she said the same thing. She said, "Hey, Wiley, I'm gonna start my channel." I said, you've been saying it for years. So just start. It's not hard. Just start it. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of it takes dedication, because here I am putting a lot of hours in. A lot of folks are not talking about these issues. They don't want to talk about it. I get some brothers and sisters that told me to DM, I don't want to talk about those issues. I don't identify with those. I challenge that. I said it's affecting you whether you want to talk about it or don't want to talk about it. So I want to give a special shout out to Daytime Tea Time for addressing it. Also, I want to give a special shout out for Nick at Night for addressing it. I want to give a special shout out for the Impressive channel for addressing it. I definitely want Tasha K to address it. So we're going to continue to apply pressure to her behind the scenes in front of the camera to have that same energy for us and don't just talk about it on the community post, but talk about it when you get them thousands of views and talk about it as well. So I want to thank everybody for having a conversation up. So I just thank everybody for doing so, for talking about this. Oh my gosh, Wiley, they some weak MF for jumping on her like that. TF. Oh, so you saw the video? Yes, you seen the video. Yes. See, now people are like, they're going to watch the video. They see it. That's what we're talking about. Regardless of what you want to identify as, whatever, but getting jumped like that was wrong. That's rough. That was rough. And that's why we started, that in-depth conversation about that, because no one was really covering it. And I was like, why not cover it on the show? All of the men are questionable. Wow. 6-4. That was the Wiley Show thing. So I want to thank you all very quickly for the Station Head piece. Thank you all for supporting us on Station Head. Thank you. Just that's all I got to say. So this is the outro. I will see y'all later. I will be back. I apologize if you are offended by my words of saying cisgender. So if you were offended by it, I apologize to you. For those that don't mind, thank you. For those that were offended, I apologize to you. And I'm asking for your forgiveness if you're offended by that. I don't mean that in malicious intent. I'm meaning it to make sure no one gets offended, and to address people how they want to be addressed and have calm. So if you were offended by that, I apologize for that. And thank you for supporting me. All right. Here we go.
Yeah, hope y'all had a good time on the Wiley Show. And as always, hit that cash app at Marquise Wiley 28. That's MarquisWiley 28. Hit us up at PO Box 701122, Dallas, Texas 75370. Follow Wiley on Instagram at Wiley Show. Until then, see you next time.
All right. Thank y'all.